Welcome in, Sunday. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Be back. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm uploading something to my phone. If my phone goes blank, this is why. Well, welcome in, people. Started the poll early. Trying to find the YouTube video I was watching yesterday. Where's my watch laters? There we go. Boom, we back in the building. What up, though? What's happening? What up, Mama G? What it do? Let's share out the live, everybody. See if we can get some folks in. I'm sure everybody's gonna crucify me for this live, but it is what it is. I'm gonna get crucified for trying to understand a narcissist. We're gonna get crucified for this, guys, so make sure y'all know we're getting crucified together. Yep, I did it. We're getting crucified together, guys. Teleporting? All right, bro. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Good morning, Trip. I'm not going to show you guys the video because obviously it's just her sitting there talking. But I'm going to put it loud enough for everybody to hear. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting live today. But while we do have 7 people here, if I can have everybody rate their week 1 to 10, or rate their mental 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Mine's is out of 10. I've been out of 10. It's been a good couple of days, a lot of information, a lot of research, a lot of everything. I had an amazing live last night, co-hosting with Go Talented and Keith and Mika, Relationship Gumbo, Hermiga, like it was all of us together. Today was dope. It's a 10. It's my birthday. Well, happy birthday. It's me. Good morning. Welcome in. What's going on, RD Marsh? Welcome in. Rach, welcome in. If y'all can, everybody, please share out the live. I see the moderator sharing out the live. I appreciate y'all. This is dope. Make sure y'all visit the poll. Good morning, positive. Welcome in, Mama G. Thank you.
Good morning. If you're in here, please tap the screen, share the live out. If you go into Mind Your Mental's link tree, you will see his book, merchandise, his Discord, which has a lot of great information. If you're not part of it, please join the Discord. We love y'all. Please tap the screen, share the live out. We have a goal of 50K likes before the live ends. If we get to 100K, that would be great, but I'm going to give y'all 50K. So please continuously tap the screen and share the live out. The more people that see this on the FYP, the more people that get the information. This is important. This isn't bullshit. So please share out the information.
This right here is some shit. I'm going to let you guys know that now. A lot of y'all might not agree with what you're about to hear, but it's important. You're about to hear from this doctor. I know everybody has their reserves when it comes to narcissists, but please just have an open mind. Learn. So the topic today is understanding the healing of a narcissist. That's the topic, true. If you guys want to write that in the chat. Understanding the healing of a narcissist. I'm gonna wait for Hormiga to pop in because I don't want to start without him. But it's one of those, guys. It's one of those. You gotta have an open mind. Pine, welcome in. You gotta have an open mind. I'm sure we've all dealt with somebody that has the traits, or you might have been the unfortunate one to deal with the full blown. But I think it's they're human at the end of the day, and to understand where they're coming from or understand why it's even a thing, and kind of just diving into their psyche. I think it's important. I think it's important. You know what I'm saying? I think we can't X them out completely because there are people that are recovering narcissists in the world, and they've gone through the transition, and they've held themselves accountable for the way that they treated people and became a better version of society, a better version of themselves for society. So we can't X out them altogether. There's some that just just can't heal, right? But there's some that are you can give them the opportunity to show their better side. So this is what this doctor's here for. Her name is Diana Diamonds. She's Dr. Diana Diamonds. Amazing information that she puts up on YouTube. Thank you, Pon Pon. Appreciate y'all. Juju, welcome in. A lot of information that she's gonna provide today. And
I'll drop down. Hold on.
Okay.
My screen froze. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Juju. Have a safe day at work. Don't work too hard. You know what I'm saying? Saturday, bro. Try to work as less as possible. You know what I'm saying? But now, if you guys definitely enjoy the vibes in here, make sure y'all tapping the screen. Make sure y'all sharing out the live. Make sure y'all hitting the link tree, checking out the book, the merch. Join the Discord if needed. When you get a chance. If it's giving you hard work is always appreciated. Absolutely.
Is there still an echo?
Yeah.
All right, let me leave the app completely.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys definitely want to be a part of the family, join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Come get some of the resources that we always drop in there. In regards to just your healing journey, just learning new aspects of mental health. You know what I'm saying? I'm firmly familiar with her videos and not just mention this perspective. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it's different. I respect it. I think the echo comes from me. Am I tripping? Like, is everybody got an echo or something? You guys can hear that?
No, now I hear you further.
You hear me further? Oh yeah, because everybody's echoing.
They're not like us. They're not
I
like
think
us.
it's the headphones.
No, it's not. I don't know.
So put your screen down and back up and see if that's it, because I left the app completely.
Hold on.
If Mama G sounds nasally, then your headphones are working fine.
Hello? Yeah, you still got an echo.
I don't know. Hold on.
Yeah. I sound like a pack of M100.
What about now?
Yes, we still hear the echo.
Let's take something.
I don't hear no echo.
Is it me? Hold on.
What do you have? Do you have the headphones on?
I have my oh, you know what it is? I had my it was probably because I had my charger plugged in. That's
Okay,
weird.
that works.
It's not Bluetooth, it's a fucking charger, TikTok. What the hell?
Yeah, that's just weird. Oh, now the echo's gone now.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, it was me. I think it was because I was plugged into my headphone, to my charger.
All right, y'all. Okay, so everybody here, we're good. We're good. We're on the bowl. We're good. Everybody good. Thumbs up in the chat if we're good.
Or Amiga, unmute real quick. You're muted. We want to see if you have an echo or not. Oh, he on the phone. No, I was trying to have him unmute because Sweetie said he was echoing too.
Am I echoing now?
No, you're good. Yeah, it was.
Of course not, because I have real
No.
headphones. Let's go.
Excuse the fuck out of us, bougie.
Ooh.
Fuck.
There's not. Oh, you know what? Let's use that word bougie Let's start off with real quick with the word bougie. How people misrepresent what bougie really means. Bougie has nothing to do with how much you pay for something. It has to do with the fact that you are attracted to things of quality. So yes, I am bougie. Thank you very much.
Oh, I know. You ain't had to
Damn.
agree. I know.
You don't have to agree. I know. Welcome in, everybody. How y'all doing today? This is what happens in the morning when TikTok is gone to shit. But welcome into Mind Your Mental, guys. How's everybody doing today?
Yes,
Grand Rising,
I
Divine
see TikTok is
Beginnings.
on their shit. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, TikTok was on their shit last night, so hopefully that doesn't happen
You know
again
what's the
today.
problem with TikTok? I'm gonna tell you what the problem with TikTok is that they go through so many changes, so many
I'm
advances,
doing
and so
amazing.
many switches because they're always testing us because the best they have the best science project. They have control over the best science project ever known to mankind, which is mankind.
Right. So y'all ready for this? Because what
Shit.
I'm telling you, Hormiga, I sent Hormiga only one video about this. I don't know if you got to watch it, but
I did watch it.
yeah. So it's one of those guys. I want to dive straight into it because there's really no time to waste on this one because there's a couple of videos to watch. So let's do it. So the first video that I'm gonna play is two real example cases of treating a narcissist. Right. That's one of the videos. The other video is narcissism and insecurity attachment styles. And then the other one is when do a narcissist seeks treatment?
Brother, can you be clear about what you're trying to say as far as treating a narcissist? Are you saying treatment of a narcissist or how you treat and act with a narcissist?
No, we're talking about a full phone treatment healing of a narcissist.
Okay.
Yep.
You're talking
We're
about
talking
after diagnosis, how do they heal?
on the doctor's perspective.
Okay, cool. Because I don't want people to be confused as to how you're supposed to represent yourself in front of a narcissist, as opposed to how a narcissist is supposed to seek or find or be healed through treatment. Those are two different things.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And Mika will be joining us soon. She has a client that she's working with, so she'll be here soon. So
Cheers.
let's start with when do narcissists seek treatment? We'll start that video first, so we can have an understanding. It's gonna be a little loud. If it's too loud, let me know, guys.
Well, I think there's two issues. One is, do they seek treatment? And the other is, can they get better? First of all, I think narcissists do. Those who, and I prefer to think of narcissistic personalities or those who have pathological narcissism, they do seek treatment. But they seek treatment at certain points in the life cycle. Early adulthood, that's the first period in which we see a fair number of individuals who seek treatment. And that's because they often, parents have grandiose expectations for their kids now. Let's face it. I mean, that's unfortunately part of the norm, especially in urban centers and so on. They might have gotten through college with helicopter parents, helping them write papers and that kind of thing, tons of tutors. But if they're not getting the job that they're expecting to get, or they're not getting the affirmation from the work world, or they just can't get out of the house and get a job, they often break down. A lot of kids who seem to be failure to thrive, I think, really have pathological narcissism and simply aren't hardy enough to withstand the challenges, the injuries that people go through when they make the transition from school to the real world. But let me give you an example. A young adult woman diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder began to have difficulties in the last couple of years of high school. Her ambitions and her parents' ambitions for her were outstripping what she was able to do in her elite school. And she wound up not getting into one of the top colleges that she expected to get into, went to a college that she deemed a secondary school and was secondary, in her view, and was very disappointed, and the parents were disappointed. It wasn't a lot of drugs and alcohol or the typical acting out scenario, promiscuity, any of those things that you might see in a more borderline situation. But she was lying to her parents. She was underachieving. She wasn't going to classes. She was saying she was turning in papers when she wasn't. There was some cheating going on, and she really began to break down in her first year of college. And wound up leaving, and then got evaluated by several people. They basically said, oh, well, she has such severe personality pathology, she can't go back to school, intensive treatment for at least a year, maybe day hospital. So then I saw her in my office.
Are you telling them they have this pathology? And what are you doing?
Well, interestingly enough,
said to be untreatable, treatable.
Well,
So I'm just gonna pause there real quick, just for everybody to understand when they say pathological narcissism. It's also known as the personality disorder. Just to give you guys a heads up on what they're speaking of. So they're speaking of the actual personality disorder of a narcissist. Hormiga, with what you heard so far, what did you take out of that, Hormiga?
I think that there are more roads and more criteria to narcissism that people think that they are. This is not a one-way shot. I'm saying I think that it's has a lot of diversity. Check that word out. It has a lot of diversity. It has a lot of different angles to this. So we need to pay attention to what it is and what it's not. That's what I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we gotta just pay attention to her words and pay attention to the examples that she's giving, because it doesn't you realize most of her stuff wasn't stemmed from relationships. Everybody thinks it stems from relationships. That's not what she's talking about. That's not what she's talking about. So just be mindful of what she's saying and where it's stemming from.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. This can stem and begin from parenting. It could come from childhood. It could come from rearing. It can come from many different avenues. That's what I meant to say.
No, you're good. You're good. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna resume the video.
interestingly enough, because this person had already been evaluated and told that she had narcissistic personality disorder, she came in telling me that diagnosis. She didn't have a clue what it meant. I asked her what it meant, and she said, well, I don't know, something about being grandiose and vulnerable. I mean, that's about as much as she could come up with. So I talked to her about it in different terms. I said, well, those who have narcissistic pathology have extreme perfectionism, so much so that they torture themselves. And, if they don't absolutely perform according to the highest standard that they have, they feel like an utter failure, and then they collapse and they can't do anything. I think that's kind of what happened to you when you went to college. Then we talked about having aspirations that are so unrealistic, they kind of outstrip what that person can realistically do. If one is a singer, wants to be an opera singer. If one is has published a short story, they want to write a best-selling novel. Unless they do that, they feel like a failure. So we talked about having goals that were perhaps unrealistic for where she was in her life and trying to set more realistic goals. And she was extremely rigid, wary, guarded. I could tell that she would talk and talk and talk, but she wasn't really revealing much about herself. And I think a real point of connection came when I said that to her. And I said, I think you're very guarded and very wary and really afraid to talk to me about what's really going on, for fear that somehow I'm going to say what the other clinicians have said. You shouldn't go back to school. You really are very, very disturbed, et cetera, et cetera. And basically what I said to her is, we don't know what you can do. What do you want to do? Well, she did want to go back to school. So she did. And I advised the parents to let her do that, to pay her tuition. And we worked very intensively on her perfectionism, how difficult it was for her to, not always get the top grades, to not always turn in the best paper, to sometimes say things in class where she felt like, she wasn't making sense, or she wasn't getting the approbation she needed. We just worked on these day-to-day experiences. Her need to hide herself and fearfulness, her extreme vulnerability and sense of shame about having had to leave school. You see, this is the other side of narcissistic pathology. A year and a half later, she's actually doing very well. She's ready to graduate. She's had several summer jobs, has already been offered a job. So this is a pretty quick turnaround time. So that's one period. The second period is midlife. And that's because in early adulthood, if you make it through that transition and you're high achieving and you're, reasonably intelligent and so on, and have good opportunities, often there's a lot of narcissistic gratification. People may more or less arrange their lives to have admiration, to have their narcissistic needs met. And so that will go along until midlife, when, because they've exploited people to a certain extent, or their entitled attitudes will get them into trouble, partners will begin to complain, children will rebel and sometimes stop speaking to parents,
or make emotional demands on them to be heard and understood in a way that's beyond the capacities of a narcissistic parent, or even their, secretaries or, assistants will up and quit, will get fed up. And then they can begin to break down and feel, have a loss of meaning about their life. Also, those narcissistic gratifications begin to wear thin. So midlife is often a time when people come for treatment. In fact, I have a fair number of patients now who are between the ages of 40 and 65, some of them in treatment for the first time. And it's often really a revelation for them. They don't come in telling you they have narcissistic pathology, but that's clearly what's bringing them to treatment.
All right, that's the first video. Your
Charge.
take, right? It's a lot.
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, like think about how many times we've judged a narcissist based off somebody's relationship versus just an everyday life. What can create a narcissist in the everyday life aspect? We always immediately think about the relationship.
Nigga,
Immediately.
I'm already here, sir. I'm right above you.
Listen, I have big thumbs.
You remind me of Deb. Deb should have
Just
lied to you in your own live.
I do it to
think
myself.
think about it. Just think about that though. Think about all that entails. Like it's not one time did she really bring up a relationship. The whole time she was having a conversation with the podcast dude.
Because it usually doesn't start that way. You bring that shit into a relationship after learning it, for being around it
Well,
and
well,
getting
let's look
comfortable in
at
it.
that a little bit deeper, right?
Go ahead.
Because the word narcissistic is weaponized. As soon as somebody doesn't agree with you, that's your go-to.
Right.
And now it's not just women, it is men and women that's using that word as a weapon when someone doesn't agree with you or they're giving you a hard time. It's a lot
Agreed.
more to narcissism to just be using that word loosely. You're doing the community and the world harm by making it seem like everybody's narcissistic. Um, what I wanted to tell you real quickly is the word pathological, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pathological can also mean addicted. Remember we talked about habits, remember we talked about
Mm-hmm.
customs and
Mm-hmm.
things that we get used to, especially like trauma bonds, that it's something that you are addicted to, something that you end up believing that you need, even though that
Right.
is harming you and you know that it's harming you. You feel that there's a good that's going to come out of it. All right, so let's go now to perfectionism. Perfectionism requires admiration and outside acknowledgement. So what do you think happens to people that do not get that outside admiration or that outside acknowledgement? They find a way to do it for themselves, and that's when they become dangerous because they're so guarded that they now do not allow anyone else to tell them about themselves. So they have now this self-absorption, and when they get to a point where your opinion or your view of things does not matter, now we have a problem because they don't need you anymore or acknowledgement to continue down that path. That's pathological.
Thank you for that, bro. Because I'm learning myself doing this. So this is interesting.
Hmm.
When I'm telling you, I've watched more videos about narcissism and narcissistic traits and behaviors. I think my brain is I'm actually starting to feel bad for these narcissists, believe it or not.
And well,
It's
look,
it's
look, here's the thing. We need to learn how to take the right approach to learning. We had this conversation a long time ago. There's
yeah,
different things that you
absolutely.
should do to open your mind and clear your mind. That way, you're not putting garbage on top of garbage or good stuff on top of garbage. Because when you mix good stuff with garbage, what does good stuff become?
Garbage.
Garbage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see, where do we go? Oh, matter of fact, let's do this. I got this one right here. That's from her.
So today's the day. I've got my RTA mock system and Coyote appliances.
Welcome
I
in,
wanted
Nappy
to
Boy.
read
Psychology
a
Pop, welcome in.
passage from The Myth of Echo and Narcissus. The most important things about pathological narcissism are in this myth. And that's why it was taken up by Freud and was the inspiration for his original essay, which was called On Narcissism. It's a source of endless fascination. Interestingly enough, at the time that it was written, it was not one of the most popular myths. We can't forget that we're living in a society where narcissism is also a personality trait that's very predominant. He lay like a fallen garden statue, gaze fixed on his image in the water, comparing it to Bacchus or Apollo, falling deeper and deeper in love with what so many had loved so hopelessly. Not recognizing himself, he wanted only himself. He had chosen from all the faces he had ever seen only his own. He was himself the torturer who now began his torture. One thing we forget very readily is that narcissists, those with narcissistic pathology, actually do experience tremendous pain. And there is a kind of torture about their self-encapsulation, their self-preoccupation, their inability to get out of themselves, the rigidity of the grandiose self, the way it isolates them from others, that is not readily apparent. He's reaching into the water, the love object doesn't respond. He finally recognizes that actually what he thought was a separate person is actually not a separate person. And so he, out of sheer frustration and longing and despair, he starves himself to death and then is turned into a flower, the narcissus flower. But in another version of the myth, he actually commits suicide and plunges a dagger into his breast. And the other thing that's very important also about the myth is that Narcissus is born from a rape of the river goddess. So there's trauma in his history. And he then inflicts trauma on himself and commits suicide. Now, those with narcissistic pathology don't have high rates of suicide, but they have high rates of lethal suicide. So there was a study done at Columbia which followed patients who had been hospitalized at Columbia over a 5-year post-hospitalization period. The borderline patients, of course, made more parasuicidal gestures. For borderline patients, suicidality and parasuicidality does become a way of self-soothing even and self-regulating. And also self-punishment, of course. But those who were primary diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder had more lethal suicidality and had actually completed suicide attempts. So there's actually quite a few papers that have been written about suicidality and narcissism that you don't hear so much about. You hear a lot about parasuicidality and borderline pathology, but not so much about narcissistic pathology. And some of these patients are the highest risk for suicide if their grandiosity collapses. So the pathological grandiose self is a stabilizing structure. But when it collapses, the collapse is dire and drastic. And that's when people can become severely suicidal, lethally suicidal.
Is it a stabilizing structure? Because essentially it's living in a fantasy.
Right. I mean, part of it is
Put a banner up, bro.
Narcissistic world. Yes, that's definitely part of it. So the grandiose self is a stable structure, but at the cost of living fully in reality. Realities that don't actually affirm the grandiosity are rejected.
Amiga?
Real quick before Amika goes, TikTok, this is for educational purposes only. And for anybody who is triggered by this conversation, please just step out of the room instead of reporting the live. This is for educational purposes only. We're not trying to trigger anyone. We're just trying to inform people about this topic. Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate that, Mama G. I appreciate that, babe. I just want everybody to be mindful of what you're hearing. Just for everybody that's coming in and not know what we are talking about, we are talking about the healing and the understanding of the healing of a narcissist from the doctor's perspective. From the doctor's perspective, for the person that went 10 toes down to try to help this person to pretty much get back into the world of society in a better version and a better light of themselves. So, if anything that you hear is something that you currently dealt with or still working on healing from, I can understand if you want to leave. I know it's not easy to hear the other side of the spectrum when you dealt with the vigorous attacks from the narcissist. So I know it's not easy to hear, but they're still human at the end of the day, and we need to understand why they are the way that they are. And this is why we're doing it. So
I think we need to backtrack a little bit for those that are coming in And for those that are having a difficult time understanding, I want to share again, we've done this in the past, but we're going to do it again. Some of the characteristics of a narcissist. That way you could start learning how to recognize this, not only in other people, but try to recognize this in themselves. A narcissist does not recognize what you can recognize about them. At first, narcissists seem perfect. They talk about themselves almost all the time. They are very sensitive to perceived criticism. They give backhanded compliments. I'm going to say that twice. They give backhanded compliments. That doesn't mean that people that give backhanded compliments are narcissists. But if you have all of these traits or most of these traits, it's something that you should consider. They will manipulate your feelings. They are extremely arrogant. If we don't know the difference between being arrogant and being confident, an arrogant person talks about the trophies that they received. A confident person will help you to get there and to get your own trophies. And one of the biggest things that people keep dropping the ball when it comes to narcissism is they cannot stand rejection. So consider these things, because at the end of the day, we all have some of these narcissistic tendencies. We all have some of the traits, right? But it's not until you have the majority of them or all of them that you see this as a problem. Now, you got to understand something about narcissists. Narcissists make it seem like they are perfectionists, right? Narcissists will do whatever it takes to lure you in. And then when they have you, what they do is they utilize you. They do everything in their power to not take accountability and push that towards you. A narcissism, there's an old saying that says there's an empath for every narcissism. I'll leave it right there.
So if somebody says, damn, what the hell can you say? I love that for you. Is that a backhanded compliment?
No, there's a little bit more context than that. Not necessarily that. Look, anything there's a good and a bad to everything, right? We talked about using the right words. We talked about the climate in the room, right? The climate in the conversation, right? The right place, the wrong time, right? We talked about tone. We talked about volume. We talked about cadence when a person speaks. Who are the type of people that we appreciate the most when we're listening to them? Someone that can articulate their words, correct? That doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. They just speak well. So pay attention to that.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Some people master the art of sounding good, make something that's corny and something that doesn't make any sense sound like it's supposed to make sense. But the way that they deliver it, it attracts you, because sometimes people are attracted to articulate responses.
Very true. No, that's facts. And I want to make sure that we're clear on this, and this is for everybody watching, all 40 people. This is not our first time touching this topic. It's not the first time us talking about this subject. We've dived into this more times than we can count. We've dived into this to the point where we hosted a following live about something else, and we had a whole another person come in and speak about their surviving of a narcissist. So like it's a lot. We're currently not letting anybody up until 10:30, but we're just letting up the mods and the host.
Kicked Elysium out.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I'm trying to get her back in here. Yeah, we'll let everybody up at 10:30, and so that way you guys can ask questions and everything. Hey, Mika.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
But yeah, we've done this quite a few times, guys. We've tried to bring as much knowledge and information in regards to the narcissists as much as possible. We've done extensive research. Me, Hormiga, Mika, we've done our best to try to bring as much information as possible on both spectrums, because we never want to leave one side completely empty. So this is the other side that we're choosing not to leave empty. I'm sure you guys have been a lot of platforms where they talk about this, but they don't talk about it in the capacity that needs to be spoken in. So we're doing our best to bring it all of it in full circle.
Also, really quickly, since we're on the subject of learning, right? Because you cannot grow without learning. Is that correct? Does everybody agree with that or not? You cannot grow without learning, right?
Right.
Okay, so she mentioned something about Freud. This is very important. For those that are students of the game and you want to really expand on your knowledge about behavior, Sigmund Freud, was a neurologist. This man fought tooth and nail about mental health. He is the inventor or the founder of psychoanalysis. Um, he developed that technique. And the thing is that he had a lot of good theories. And he had something called the theory of motivation. If you want to know what is stopping you from moving forward, or what it is, the challenges that we face, we keep pointing to the exterior and we're not looking at ourselves. Look at his theory of motivation, mental illness, that it is structured by the subconscious. In other words, the only people that are stopping us from moving forward is ourselves. Again, Sigmund Freud. People keep mistaking Freud for a sociologist, not like Karl Marx or Weber.
Wasn't
Right?
he a magician?
What was that?
Wasn't he a magician?
No.
Who, Freud?
No, she heard Sigmund. No, no.
No. Sigmund, that's his first name, Sigmund Freud. He was a psychoanalyst and he was
I
way.
swear this whole time I'm sitting here, since when the magician was this damn smart?
Well, nowadays you have to be a magician in order to deal with mental health. So,
listen, absolutely.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah, so it's Freud. It's Freud, Freud.
Oh,
right. He was Austrian. He was a neurologist, and he was into that. And then he really realized something about behavior. You see, the thing is that here's the wild part that I keep trying to tell people. He noticed these things in the 1800s.
Thank you for writing that in the chat.
We are now in the 2000s, right? Psychology is fairly new, ladies and gentlemen. This is not something that's been going on, because anytime in the past that people will talk about this, they will be looking at them as a Satan worshiper, or they will look at them as a cult, someone who's trying to put a cult together, right? But this man went through a lot trying to get this information out there, and everybody was trying to debunk him and not let these things come forward, because the powers that be had an agenda. So when we talk about back then that the nutritional value of the food that we had was a lot better than what it is now, think about that the things that you feel and how whatever it is that's grabbing you could be the stuff that you're actually eating. So please, this is just for people that are students of the game and you want to go further. Sigmund Freud, read up on this guy's theories, please.
So I really have a high level of respect for Freud. He developed therapeutic techniques such as free association, transference. He went into the analytic processes of redefining sexuality, which brought him up to the Oedipus complex, which is a whole different theory, a psychoanalytical theory. He did analysis of dreams, which gives him some type of knowing that dreams were some form of repression, of repressed memories also. And then he also elaborated his theories of the unconsciousness, which developed the model that we use for the psychic structure of the id, the ego, and the superego. So
that's right.
He postulated the existence of the libido. So he really talked about a lot of sexualization, of energy, the mental processes, and also the drive of compulsive repetition, aggression, and neurotic guilt as well. So he was one of those forefathers of, I'm gonna put it like that.
Yeah, real quick also. He talks a lot about the subconscious. And I talk a lot about that the answers that we're looking for are already inside of us, right? So this proves the theory that I'm saying, because the whole thing about it is that Human behavior is influenced by unconscious memories, thoughts, and urges. I'm going to say this one more time. Human behavior is influenced. Influence doesn't necessarily mean that that's it. That's all it is. There's a lot of different influences, but the major influences are unconscious memories. Think about what I'm saying. Unconscious memories, thoughts, and urges. When I pray in the morning, I say, please forgive me for my words, for my thoughts, and my sins. I'll leave it at that.
So real quick, I want to do another commercial break. It is 9:42 in the morning. We are halfway to our 50K goal. Can we please tap the screen, share the live out? The more taps, the more people on the FYP, the more people get this information. Please tap and share the live. Our goal is 50K, but if we get to 50K before it's time, I'm gonna up it up. So I'm gonna need y'all to put your fingers on the charging station and get to tapping, okay? Thank you.
We appreciate y'all, honestly. Everybody that came in. I appreciate everybody sitting here and listening to, one, the knowledge that we're providing, our experiences, our education, as well as the video itself, because I know it's very difficult sometimes to sit through a video and listen to things, but this isn't very important. This is not something to play around with. This is not a topic to play around with, and I was not coming here to play. So I want everybody to really keep an open mind. I know there's a lot of people here. I've read the chat. I was paying attention. There's a lot of people here that are currently getting out of the situation of dealing with a narcissist, and some people are healing or going through the process. Even us coaches and advocates, we've dealt with narcissism in our lives as well. So you're not by yourself in this. Just to give you guys a heads up, you are not by yourself in this. All right, we're all here together collectively. This is why I brought this collectively. I didn't just watch it by myself. I waited till I got everybody here together so we can learn together on the aspect of what's going on. So, yeah. Good.
Total off subject. Brother, Ramita, how you feeling?
I feel the best that I felt this entire week since Monday. Thank you.
Okay, I've been
I
praying.
actually I want to share something with you now that you brought that up. Yeah, I went through something borderline meningitis, which is a lot of toxicity and a lot of bacteria that's in your blood, on top of an ear infection that almost spread through my whole body. I believe that this was meant to happen. The reason why I'm saying that and sharing this, I usually am very closed when it comes to this. The first thing I did today is realize that I lost my way. I stopped doing the routines that got me to where I need to get. So I took that as a warning sign. So what did I do? This is what I realized today. If you have a patch of grass or a patch of grass outside of your home, when you get up in the morning, do yourself the favor and go walk barefoot on that grass. Because I'm going to tell you what that does. It changes the polarity of your thoughts. It changes the polarity of your physical composition. So if you want to do yourself a favor and start off on the right foot, literally, go walk barefoot in the grass. Okay. What it does is that it stimulates every single billions of cells that are in your body. It supercharges you. It puts you in pH balance or puts you in the path to pH balance, and it grounds you. Nobody wants to listen to this because it's too easy. It's too easy for you to walk outside barefoot in the grass so you can rearrange and adjust yourself. You know what? Don't knock it till you try it. That's number one. Number two, what I realize is those that have a small patch of grass outside of their home and they're not taking advantage of it, you may not deserve to have a bigger patch of grass, if you understand what I'm saying.
I'm going to kick it up a notch. I'm about to go here and ground with you guys.
If you have grass in front of you right now and you're walking in your socks or you're walking in your sandals or your sneakers or your shoes, please touch the ground with your feet. And people are like, that can't be it. Do you understand that the core of the earth is a big magnet? Do you understand that we have crystals naturally because we're made of carbon, if you want to get scientific about this? And do you understand that we are conducives? We have a conduciveness that conducts electricity and magnetism in our bodies. Do yourself the favor and go and stand on the grass with your bare feet. Trust me, please. So yes, thank you. I'm feeling a lot better. Why?
I'm a
And I
cheat.
took it as a warning sign.
I'm
I'm glad
asking
you
for
said
a friend.
You play too much.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm
that
going back on mute.
sometimes the Most High has a way of bringing us back when we get a little bit far off of our path. The Most High has a way of telling us, hey, stop. I just grounded. I don't know. Energy is transferable. So I don't know if you guys felt the energy, but I feel a lot better than I did prior to. So
We got 66 people in here. I guess y'all like the positivity because y'all in here. Y'all in here today.
Now this is serious because what is a magnet?
Y'all in here today.
A magnet is an attraction. You know how they use the theory of attraction, the law of attraction?
yeah.
Well, how are you supposed to attract something when you're not the magnet?
Absolutely, London. That is very true, London, that you wrote in the chat just now.
Put
She
out.
said, fun fact, the feet have the largest pores in our bodies, so it's best way to attain what you need. So, London, you are absolutely right.
You have
Absolutely
the
right.
most nerve endings are in your feet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
I
So
just
much
don't
information.
understand. I just don't
I
understand.
got a question. Can I buy some grass and put my feet on it?
No, it has to be
No,
attached. It's
it
natural
has to be
grass
natural.
My
and it has to
neighbors
be
are
attached.
disgusting. I gotta find a good patch of grass somewhere.
Go to the
Well,
park. Go to the park.
well,
Like, go to the park.
well, I tell you this, and I am not taking this off, subject because before we deal with any behaviors in our lives, before we deal with other people, we have to make sure that we're grounded. If you're really interested in psychiatry, psychology, counseling, and coaching, if you're really interested in this and you want to be of great service, put yourself in the best position possible to continue to learn and to continue to put forth things that are coming from the right place.
Absolutely.
Grounding yourself is too important to ignore. You know that there's people who are like, I'm in a bad mood. I don't know what to do. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, why don't you escape and go to a park today? And if you want to even go stronger than that, go to a lake that has grass, right?
Or
Because lake is still water, right?
I
Mm-hmm.
want everybody to find a place.
London.
I want you to find everybody that's in here, right? Because me personally, I like sitting by the water, right? So sitting by the water is a natural energy that comes flowing through the water. It's just something natural about it.
And highly
Find some
spiritual.
that too. So try to find something that conduces of natural energy. That's gonna help you find that peace, find that reset of your body. You know what I'm saying? That's like the number one thing that's important if you really want to find that level of grounding. Find something that's of natural energy. Putting your feet in grass for about 30 minutes or so.
That's a tree.
Even in the pool, even on a yeah, even like just sitting in the water. Like you know what I'm saying?
Water
That's
is a
not the one.
conductor.
Right. You gotta. It's there's so much to it, guys.
I like
I'm.
the reset. I like the reset that you said
Let's
because
go with the let's go with the research
the
tribe. I appreciate you,
reset
guys.
the
So
reset is important. I'm gonna tell you
not a
why.
pool, natural water.
If you do not no, if you do not reset, and believe me, reset does not necessarily
Right,
mean
London. Thank
starting
you.
all over, right? Reset does not necessarily mean starting all over. It means going back to your core with what you've learned so you can filter out the fluffy stuff and you can use what's important because after you reset the right way and after you ground, all you're doing is gaining. All you're doing is adding strong levels of foundation to your further enhancement. I
Right.
do this every day. Let me be an example. This is how I lost all the weight. This is how I got in tune with myself. This is how you understand and monitor yourself to know if you're falling off your purpose.
So the question. So London had a question for us, and I'll answer that question. No problem. So she said, "What benefits has everyone seen from doing these things?" So I was a very angry person at one point in my life. A very aggressive, very angry. Mika seen it, or Mika seen it. They seen the shift. I was a very angry person for a very long time. Up until I started realizing how much peace being by the water brings me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the world doesn't exist when I'm sitting by the water. And when I realized that shifted my energy, I made sure it was something that I did every day, if I could do it every day, to just go sip out of water.
I
No
got
matter.
asked. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. So
No
that's
matter.
one of the things that really helped. And then Mika taught me how to meditate and kind of really dive into that third eye that I had, and I applied that on top of what I already knew. And since then, listen, let me tell you, there's not really many things now that can get me in a bad mood. It's very hard for me to get into that place. But go ahead. I know one of you guys can go. It don't matter. Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Armiga.
Just really quickly, put me on the big screen real quick because Mama G asked me a question, and I like to give this to Mama G, and I like to give this to everybody real quick. I'm going to switch my
Gotcha.
screen,
I
and I'm going.
appreciate
And
it. I didn't mean right now, but
no,
go
no, I
ahead.
listen.
No,
You
it's
asked
fine. We
me.
still got time. We got a lot of time. We're good.
I'm gonna do it right now. Look,
Big shift. Big shift.
You know
look.
what's crazy, Amiga?
Listen,
I
this is
seen
a
you
three.
before when you were big.
Everybody
Where?
knows me when I was big. Nobody wants to know me now because now I know what I'm talking about. So
Bro, you
so
look
check
so
it out. This
good.
guy right here was 367 pounds. This guy right here is 222 pounds. This happened in 110 days. No
That's amazing.
surgeries, no surgeries, no cheating. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Do whatever it is to take. But this is what it's all about.
That's what's up. I
I'm
That's
used to
good.
up.
be, I used to be 350 pounds. I don't look like rock built like you. One day, when I grow up, I'm gonna be like you, but I'm getting there. But I love that. I love seeing that. That's why
So
I
it's
asked because
Milani.
I
Welcome in,
went through
y'all.
that same thing. Like I used to be 350 pounds. I'm 5 feet.
Hold on, Mika. I got you.
So to see somebody else do it, I'm loving it today. I love that.
That's what
Okay,
I'm talking about. See,
yeah.
I knew that I would trigger her to do that. You see?
There's a transition. Everybody's going through the transition, man.
Right.
Everybody.
And
I
and
know.
and and, and that's why I became. Watch how slick I am. This is why I became a transitional coach because what is a change in life?
That's
A
awesome, Mika.
transition, right? Think of right, Mika. So everything that we do, every change that we do is a transition, right? A
Thank
breakup,
y'all.
growth, learning, everything is a transition. So that's why I became a transition coach because I am a coach to help you
Ourselves, absolutely.
change. Let's go.
So right now, so I'm in my transition as well because I noticed. So I just started the job like a couple of weeks back, right? It's about to be on a month since I started that job. That first picture that we took to do like our ID, right? I noticed how big I was in that fucking picture. But then a couple of weeks later, we took another picture, right? And I'll show it to y'all. When I'm telling you, like my weight shifted, and I wasn't expecting it to shift the way that it did, but it did. Hold on.
And I don't
Hold on.
appreciate that the background picture you got is not showing my gangster. You understand what I'm saying?
So this is me right now, after a month.
You
Look
do
your
look
little
smaller.
leg.
You do look smaller. I could tell already.
Look at your little
Right?
legs. You need to
You, you,
don't
you,
skip leg day.
your skinny
Absolutely
jeans are
not.
sagging. You heard? Your skinny jeans are sagging. You're
Listen,
losing weight.
that's how you know that I'm losing the weight because the skinny jeans are not skinny jeans. You
You
know what I'm
got the big
saying?
screen real quick.
They're baggy now. They're baggy. Now that went from skinny jean to the whole MC
To actual
Hammers.
jean, right?
So this was
Wow.
Wow.
that
So wait, we
that's
all have something in common. You see what I'm saying?
that's
The
my
energy.
little back in the day.
401 pounds at my
Mama
height.
G, that was you?
Yes, this is me.
Oh man. You
And
look like you ate a lot of tacos.
I mira, I do, and I probably did. Hold on one
Hmm.
second. Let me find
Hopefully, this
the
is motivation
now.
for you guys, honestly, for people that are not really feeling
We
it
have
themselves.
we have three people that's done it and one person that's doing it. So now we have somebody that's in the process and we have people that have achieved it. That's ridiculous, Mama G. That is absolutely ridiculous. What size did you go from what to what, Mama G, if you can remember?
Shit. When I was big, I used to be 2X, almost 3X. Even though I probably was a 3X, but wearing a 2X.
What does that translate into numbers? Because I know women's numbers like a
Um,
10, 12, 14,
Honestly, I
16.
don't remember. It's been so long. I do not remember.
I was a
But
size.
now which is crazy. I recently just found out I'm actually wearing size bigger than I'm supposed to be. I am now a small. I've never been a small nothing.
So somebody asked in the chat, how do you do it? Discipline, motivation, confidence,
Yep.
pushing yourself.
Hang out
Like
with people that cheer for you.
that part. I want everybody to understand something. Like saying that you want to be the better version of yourself is a very important thing. Speaking it into existence, manifesting it,
Yep.
talking it out loud, speaking it to yourself. Talking to yourself is a good thing, people. Don't make people think that you're crazy because you talk to yourself.
Nah, I
Talking to
talk to
yourself is
myself all the
very
time.
important. Melania, I'll let you up in a second. We're gonna let people up at 10:30.
Also,
So
you have to fight through the pain because it's going to be very painful. Nothing worth getting is not going to be painful.
I'll give
You have
you
to
guys
eat properly,
Whenever
and
you
you have
guys
to
are
be
ready, I'll tell you how I do it.
consistent.
I'll
It's
give you
the
guys a tool
consistency.
that I use. I use a tool that I use. Anything that makes me angry, upset, or causes me any stress, I'm going to the gym, and I'm using that in the gym.
Yep.
Just
Well,
because it keeps me focused on what I want to do, and it makes me really motivated to push, right? But after I go to the gym, and I do that, I sit with myself for a little bit, and then I reevaluate my thought process, because sometimes it's not a good thing to do that, but in that moment I thought it was. But the last week or so, don't get it twisted. When I'm telling you I'm fast transitioning, I'm fast transitioning. I realized that wasn't a good thing to do, right? So motivating yourself, finding the right circle, finding the people that celebrate you, even the big and small of your accomplishments. Find those people. Mika, go ahead.
The main thing that I have to say about losing weight and what we're going through, and everybody has their own journey and everybody went through their own thing. And I
Good
know
morning, Nay.
Ramiga touched base on this. I did have the surgery. I had the surgery. I was 401 pounds. My body started working against me. My thyroid started working against me. So I did every fad diet that I could possibly do, but I was still steadily gaining weight. I was on a lot of medications for depression, anxiety, and a lot of other things, ADHD and pain medicine, because I was so overweight that my hips hurt, and I had sciatic issues, and I was getting steroids for breathing because I could barely breathe. I was very unhealthy back then, all due to grief. And it all starts with your mindset. You have to really realize that before I even had the surgery, I knew that I had to go. I saw a psychiatrist, I saw a psychologist, I went through nutrition classes. I just didn't go and have them do something to my body and augment my body. I really thought about it long and hard. And I had to realize that that was not the answer. It was just a tool, because you can gain that weight back. You have to understand that whenever you go through something like that, you are changing your body, physiologically changing your body, to the point where I ended up catching or contracting the condition that I am fighting now, that I have been since I got diagnosed in 2016, because I augmented my body. There are repercussions of things, but you also have to know, before you do any of this, you have to change your lifestyle. It is a lifestyle change. It is a mental change. You have to consciously wake up every single day and make the decision to be a healthy person. You have to wake up every day and make the decision to be a positive person. You have to make that decision every single day to be a better version of you than you were yesterday or before you even went to sleep the night prior. It's a change. I have gone from being on over 30 plus medications to now I only take four, actually 1, 2, 3
Melania.
actually prescribed medications. And then I take moringa oleifera, lion's mane, sea moss, castor oil. You know, there are things. I don't take any other medications, and I did all of this with the help of all 7 of my specialists. Because when I tell you, I went from looking at death right here to having my heart stop.
You ain't lying, Darcel. We definitely eat our emotions.
To having my heart stop because I gave up my will to live. When I tell you the psyche affects all of this. Okay? My heart didn't stop because of anything that I had going on in my body. My heart is healthy as hell. I gave up my will to live. So when you tell me that this doesn't affect this, I'm going to tell you I'm going to call bullshit. And I'm going to tell you because I lived this. This is my reality. This is what I've gone through. And I'm only speaking based off of experience. And it's what I'm writing my dissertation about right now, about how holistic and alternative means can help us. But you have to get this right. You have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to change everything about you. You have to love you first. Okay? When that love from within starts to come out, then all of a sudden the weight flies off. I'm 148 pounds right now. I am 5'8 3/4. That's how tall I am. And I weigh 148 pounds. I was 401 pounds, 2012. This is not a overnight journey that I just did. I didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, no, I took my time.
What's up, Treasy?
I've had 0 cosmetic surgery done. Period. There's not a lot of loose skin on me. Okay? This comes, and I'm 49 years old. I will be 50 in December. Okay? I've been in menopause for 10 years. I don't have a uterus. So I was forced into menopause 10 years ago. So we can't use these excuses as to, oh, I'm getting older, so things are different. No, you've got to change this. You change this, everything else will start to permeate from within outward. You'll see a lot of people who are walking around here who are thin. They are unhealthy. I am the healthiest that I've ever been in my life.
Absolutely.
Today, I go to the doctors. I went from going to the doctors to get checked out every week to now I'm every 6 months. That is a huge accomplishment. And it's because I recognized inside what I needed to do inside. And then I also embraced my spiritualism. I embraced my gifts and I started walking within my purpose. And then guess what happens? The body follows suit.
Absolutely.
So there's levels to all of this, and everybody has their own journey and how they do things, you know. And yeah, I can gain weight if I sit down and stop doing what I'm supposed to do. I can gain the weight back. I did gain some of the weight back. I got back up to 216 last year, but I had oral surgery and I was eating the wrong stuff, you know. So when I tell you that type of stuff, but it has to start with self-love. Now let's get back on the topic at hand. Narcissists.
Yes, I wanted to say.
Tell me, when I was younger, it was something that I dealt with. You will never have a man that will be faithful to you because you're too pretty.
Huh?
What a great example. What a great example. And let me back up my family here. For those that think that we unconsciously changed the subject here, no, we didn't. Well, we're letting you know that there are so many components to behavior and mental health. And sometimes you think that you're nuts, but it's the crowd that you keep. It may not be you. Maybe it's the food that you eat. And we're trying to tell you what happens when you start taking care of yourself from the core, intellectually, your vocabulary, physically, spiritually, And the last thing that you should be working on is your finances. Because if you work on your finances first and you don't work on everything else, you will lose your finances. You need to have some type of mindset and some type of lifestyle to what? To maintain this, to create a level of sustainability. Why is it that I do not give you business consulting until I give you life coaching? Why? Because if you don't have the right mindset, I'm encouraging you to fail. Think about what I'm saying. All of it is related. This is why I talk about health in the physical and in the spiritual, because it's all related. It's not just about your mental health, but you got to understand all the things that can contribute to the demise of your mental health. You may not have a mental health problem. It might be the people that you keep around you.
Now, I'm going to go back to the reason why I brought that topic up, the reason why I brought that particular comment up, because I was younger when that happened to me. I was 16, 17, 18 years old. I had a boyfriend that I was with, and he broke up with me to go back to his old girlfriend. And he was like, you'll never have a man be faithful to you because you're too pretty. They can't trust you. That left a mark right here subconsciously, which started leading me to, because I was physically fit back then. I was literally a swimmer, almost a professional swimmer. I'll put it that way. I did synchronized swimming, and I swam every single day, miles every day. And I started picking up weight then because part of my ego was destroyed, diminished. And it was something that got stuck in the back of my head that, yeah. But the problem wasn't me. The problem was within him. You know what I mean? Like, that was within him. But I didn't know anything back then. You know, I didn't know that was going to be something that I was going to carry throughout my entire life. You know, to the point where I'm 49 now, and I brought it up because I know I've done the shadow work. I've gone back. I've already forgiven. Therefore, it no longer affects me now, but I can speak openly about it and not get emotional because there are no more emotional ties to it. Now it's a lesson that I learned, that you don't let someone else dump their shit on you and you hold on to their insecurities, because that was his shit, not mine.
I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop everybody there. Reason being, because that's actually the next video I was gonna play. That was the next video I was gonna play. So I'm glad that you brought. Do you see how divine energy is?
You see how that works? Do you see
Like,
how that works? She went outside and she put her feet on the grass. She came back in shooting daggers. I mean, not daggers, throwing spikes and a whole bunch of kitchen sink things. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
we're gonna play that video right now because that's crazy that she brought that up.
Gives you the power of AI to build the website you need.
Y'all ready?
You know, Kernberg's theory about the development of the grandiose self is that these individuals had parents who were less than optimal, that they exploited the child as an extension of the self. They exploited the child for their own narcissistic needs. They were sometimes quite cold at the same time as they were exploiting the child and treating the child as an extension of themselves. And so the child, in order to cope with that, internalizes an idealized image of the parent. And the ideal image of the parent, which is actually quite different from the real parent, then lives on internally and becomes part of the self. At that point, the child actually does begin to turn away themselves, you see, and builds a kind of moat around themselves, and the grandiose self gets more and more entrenched. And the person, of course, who's written about that is Neville Symington. And he talks about how in every case of narcissistic pathology that he's treated, the individual has chosen the narcissistic solution at some point in their development and has turned away from relationships with others. And that's my experience as well. I think the closest thing we have to data on that is the attachment research and connecting that with pathological narcissism. Beatrice Beebe has done some fascinating research at 4-month-old mother-infant pairs, where the baby is 4 months. And she's actually found that it's not just what the mother did. We always thought it was what the mother did. But actually, the baby also creates contingencies. And the baby who turns away from the mother and copes on its own is going to discourage the mother from actively reaching out for the baby, you see. So I have no idea which of those 4-month-olds who cope and turn away from them what develop personality disorders or narcissistic personality disorders. But I do believe there is something constitutional and something that actually leads individuals to choose this as a solution when there's a less than optimal environment. So we do know that those who have narcissistic pathology tend to have insecure attachment. And that's really important because we know what those insecure groups look like in infancy and what the parents are doing. So, for example, those who have dismissing attachment have parents who actually rejected the child's attempts to engage them when they were frightened or threatened in some way. And so the child then began to dampen their own bids for attachment behavior from the parent. You see, and that's what I was talking about with those with narcissistic pathology actually turning away from the caregiver. However, in laboratory situations, what they see is at the same time as the child is turning away, galvanic skin responses, heart rate are escalating. So it's showing that they're having at a visceral, unconscious level, a reaction to the parent turning away from them, that they're not expressing consciously or in their behavior. And I think that's very important because I think that helps us understand individuals with narcissistic pathology. They're not necessarily showing you their distress. They're not maybe even that aware of their distress. The preponderance of those who have narcissistic pathology have dismissing, avoidant attachment, have a sort of cold, dismissive attitude towards attachment overall. They talk about their personal strengths, and they tend to downplay the importance of attachment relationships. In love relations, they tend to have multiple partners, to not commit. This actually also sounds like narcissistic pathology. Now, not everyone who has dismissing attachment has narcissistic pathology, but many people who have narcissistic pathology do have dismissing attachment status. They can also have, interestingly enough, insecure, ambivalent, preoccupied attachment status. These are individuals who feel very insecure about attachment relationships, tend to over-focus on attachment relationships, over-focus on the importance to the exclusion of other things in their life, tend to be preoccupied with them, tend to have a lot of involving anger towards attachment figures, tend to have poor differentiation between the self and the other in attachment relationships, tend to seek out relationships and cling to them, and to use sexuality as a way of binding people to them, as opposed to thinking about their own sexual pleasure. And those individuals who have preoccupied attachment also tend to be high on vulnerable narcissism. So you have two different kinds of insecure attachment that come into play that strengthens our view that there are two different presentations of narcissistic pathology because they have been found to go along with insecure attachment. Or individuals with narcissistic pathology will go back and forth between dismissing and preoccupied strategies. That's called cannot classify. That's where there's disorganization in the attachment system. And that's very interesting because we often see that in the transference in treating people with narcissistic pathology. We see on the one hand, they'll be very cool and dismissing, devalue the relationship with the therapist. When you refer to the transference, they'll say, well, what relationship? I don't have a relationship with you. There's no relationship here. No transference. That often is the first transference you have with those with narcissistic pathology. But on the other hand, you can have an insecure, preoccupied, clinging kind of transference as well, or you can have vacillation between those two things. And it's the oscillation between vulnerable and grandiose states that makes these patients so difficult to treat. And it's so confusing for the clinician.
Take a second, y'all. Take a breather.
That's the best thing that everybody could do right now.
Just breathe. I know for a fact there's not many people that's heard this perspective before. On you know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot. So again, I'm gonna reiterate, and I'm gonna keep doing it as we watch these videos. If this is something that triggers you, we completely understand. We are not trying to trigger you. We want you to understand the other perspective of what we can't see because we're so in it, being the victim. We're so in it being the victim, we can't really see that other side until we go through our process. Even after we go through our process, we just don't care to see that side because now we have to dive into the psyche of the person that hurt us. You get what I'm saying? So I know it's a lot. Fluffy, what's going on? Hormiga, bro.
I
Go
got, I
ahead.
got, I gotta touch this, man. Ooh, okay. Since the beginning of this subject, I've been trying to curb people about words. There is a difference between real and realistic. That istic or ism, realism, because reality is subjective based on perception. I'm
Right.
gonna bring this to full circle. Realistic is not real. Real means genuine. Real means authentic. Realistic means that it seems like it could be, it looks like, it has hints of it. So why am I saying this? You know where I'm going with this, right? So let's talk about narcissism, right? You could do something that's narcissistic. That doesn't mean that you are a narcissist. You could do something that looks like narcissism. That doesn't make you a narcissist. That could mean that you have some of the traits. Now, something that I know nobody's going to talk about, well, you haven't talked about it yet, so I'm not going to doubt you. There is something that's called malignant narcissism.
That's crazy that you say that. Psychology pop. She mentioned that earlier in the chat.
Well, I'm glad she said that. I didn't even read
She
that because
mentioned it.
otherwise I would have gave her the props for that. But thank you for
Yeah, she
saying that.
mentioned it in the chat.
So malignant narcissism is the worst because it's threatening, it's physical, it's a threat to everything and anything. Now, here's the part about the pathological. The pathological narcissist is referring to the narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. That is treatable. Now, when
Mhm.
someone says something like narcissism, what they're really referring to is someone's behavior. Now, when you're talking about the personality disorder, you're talking about someone that's so deep into it, yes, that they might not know what's going on. Why I say might, because you have to be really careful with how you do definitions, because you could be giving a narcissist the fuel to use that as an excuse. But I didn't know. But I didn't know. I'm sorry. But some narcissists know exactly what they're doing. They know
Mhm.
exactly what they're talking about. The absence of conscious is not always the factor in narcissistic behavior or narcissism. So I want everybody to get this right. When we say pathological, we're talking about the actual MPD, narcissistic personality disorder, which is the full-fledged diagnosis, and it is treatable. Why? Because they pretty much fill all the criteria of what a narcissist is. Now, if you have tendencies, they grow because you use that as a weapon. You use that as an outlet. You use that as an excuse. You even play the victim sometimes when someone rejects exactly what you're saying. Oh, you're not into my feelings. Yeah, but you are. I'm going to say that one more time. You're not into my feelings, but yeah, you are. And you're so into your feelings that you don't consider anybody else.
Right.
That is one trait. That is one characteristics. We went through the whole list, right, of all the things that a narcissist looks like. But if you break that down into separate compartments, those are all behaviors, right? But when you have 75% of these traits, it's time to look in the mirror. It's time to reflect. It's time to start taking people's advice because what you're going to do is you're going to Self-center yourself to a point where you become selfish. I'll say this one more time for the people that keep hearing, you got to be selfish. You got to be selfish. No, you do not. You never have to be selfish. What you can be is self-centered and avoid becoming selfish, because all about you is a good thing if you're working on yourself. But if you do that too much, that's the only way you could function. Nobody else's opinion, nobody else's thoughts, nobody else's emotions, they don't matter. They don't matter. So understand that wordplay is important. Realistic is not real. Narcissistic is not a narcissist. You understand what I'm saying? So
No, I'm here with you. I'm right there with you.
don't let the words. This is why I tell people that it's very important to learn vocabulary so we can all be on the same page. It ain't to be smarter than somebody else. It's to give a better clarity and understanding so we're all on the same page. Otherwise, we'll be bumping heads for the rest of our lives. Does that make sense?
Yep. So guys, we got about 9 minutes or so, 8 minutes or so till we open the boxes for everybody in the chat. Mika.
Quick, before Mika goes, we have a new light goal. We could reach the 50K goal. We truly appreciate y'all. But since we still have like an hour and a half to go, we are now reaching for 75K likes. We can take a break because I know y'all fingers are probably hurting. But please, continue to tap the screen. Continue to share the live. There's still so much more information that a lot of people deserve to hear. Thank you. We appreciate you. Tap the motherfucking screen.
And I know I don't really talk about this. You see that star like right there above my head? You know, where the gift is swiped up, and you see that star right above my head? If you guys are enjoying this live every Saturday, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We got 14 subscribers here. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to definitely join the family, just subscribe. I believe it's like $2.99. That costs less than your McDonald's. I'm just saying.
Also, right above that is a heart, which is the heart me. Join the family. It costs 1 cent to be part of the fam. Please hit the heart me.
Thank you, Darcel. I appreciate you. And if you guys haven't seen what Darcel just dropped in chat, make sure y'all go hit the link tree and grab my book, Mind Your Mental. If you guys haven't already purchased it, it is available in Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. So I have maybe about 4 or 5 people here that collectively have the book, that's actually read the book in full capacity, maybe twice. And I'm sure they can give you all the tools and the gems on what the book entailed and did for them, if you guys want to hear that perspective. And if you guys want to also go on Amazon and read the reviews, because I'm telling you, the reviews are reviewing. And Mika dropped her phone.
I have the book.
Don't get too excited.
I have the book. I'm halfway through it, and I know somebody else who will share this sentiment. She's probably not here, but I want to kick him in the shins.
Why you gotta get kicked in the shins, though? You know what? We're not even gonna get there. We're not even gonna go there. But Mika, take the flow. Take the flow. Take the flow. No? One? Okay, she's on the phone. Yeah, I don't know why she want to keep me in the shin, y'all. Listen, the book, honestly, let me tell you the truth about the book. You're good. Let me tell you the truth about the book. If you are in the process of focusing on you, working on yourself, being the better version of yourself, that's what the book is for. If you're not in that process, or you do not want to work on yourself, do not grab the book, because the book is going to give you a reality check. Okay, it's going to give you a reality check. And not in just only in the personal aspect, but if you are in a relationship, if you are in a marriage, and you think that you've lost yourself within your relationship or your marriage, or you can't understand the aspect of your person in your relationship or your marriage, I promise you the book is going to give you a reality check. Okay, it's what the book is going to do, which is why everybody that's read the book so far either wants to physically harm me because of what they read, because it's a self-reflection of what they're currently dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that in mind when you do decide to grab the book.
You ain't have to put my business out there like that. I don't appreciate it.
I'm just saying. Mika, you good? Okay, go ahead.
I just keep sneezing. But I'm listening, actually. Like I'm listening and taking in. So
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I know. Trust me, I get it. When I originally watched the first video I sent, I was just like, it kind of kicked me in the chest a little bit, Because it was like, you know what I'm saying? Because I never thought about the aspect of the narcissist on the opposite side, on what they're dealing with and how it stems. And I got to give a shout out to Frosty, because Frosty's the reason why we're having this live today. Frosty's the reason why I even thought about doing this, is because when we had a conversation in the Discord, in the link tree, by the way, if you guys want to join the Discord, we had our community chat, and we kind of spoke on certain things. And when we spoke on the narcissistic, escaping a narcissist, when we had that live, Frosty brought up the other aspect due to a personal situation. I'm not going to bring it up, but a personal situation that she's currently dealing with somebody that she knows. So I'm like, maybe we could find something that could kind of like shift the narrative a little bit and give an understanding of the narcissist. So that's what we're doing here. That is exactly what we're doing here. Go ahead, Marmiga.
There is a challenge that I've been hearing, right? That
And happy
there is
birthday, Frosty.
that happy birthday. There is nothing known to mankind. I've heard this several times before, and I agree and disagree with this, by the way. That there is nothing known to mankind to be able to treat MPD. I say that it is nearly impossible, but there are cases where we have seen some light, we have seen some changes, we have seen some growth, we have seen some understanding from those that are actually engulfed in this.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. Why we talk about this so much is because it's one of those buzzwords on social media, you know, and it's a word that's used really quickly, like family and love. Oh, that's my fam. That's your what? Oh, I love that dude. You love what? Okay, so somebody says something nice and I love you. Somebody says something that agrees with you and you love them. So basically, that is the beginning of narcissistic tendencies, is when you only look for people that agree with you. Because part of growth is to be in a diverse conversation with people that can give you a different perspective, right? Because what is reality? Reality is subjective depending on somebody's perception, correct? So all I want is to tell people is this. Before you get diagnosed as a full-blown narcissist, MPD, we have to debunk all the other things that it could be. It could be nutrition, right? It could be the people you're around. It could be the culture. It could be generational curses. It could be a combination of these things. But until we start unwrapping ourselves, doing the shadow work, visiting that child, looking at yourself in the mirror with absolute self-reflection. In other words, damn, you ain't shit. You know, when you look in the mirror and you go, damn, you ain't shit. Damn, you're always looking for the easy way out. Why am I always putting myself in a position to win from somebody else's failures? Why does somebody else have to fail so that I could win? Why does somebody else have to feel pain so that I can feel better? You know why? Because you thrive on someone else's misery, as long as it's not your own. These are people that cannot handle these things on their own. So they project it. You know, sometimes we think that other people are just like us, and we talk about this all the time, that they're going to think and act and behave the way that we do. So we set a false expectation on how other people behave. So all I'm saying, and I know Mika's going to kill this, but watch this. All I'm saying is, for every diagnosis in the world, before you become 10 toes down on what you think it is, and this is especially for you self-diagnosed people that you think that you know how to self-diagnose yourself. That's not how it works, because you need a different perspective from the outside in. And if you're not available, because perceptive is a view from the outside in. That's just one view. If you're not allowing yourself, or you don't know how to do it, and you don't value other people's opinion about you, then you're only seeing what you want to see or whatever's comfortable for you. That's number one. But what I'm saying is, think about nutrition. Think about environment. Think about your upbringing. Think about your culture, right? Think about all these factors before you start using that word. Before you start throwing, because this is a very serious subject, man, and people keep taking this for granted. Like, if you could just go around calling people narcissists because they don't agree with you, because something doesn't fit your bill, because something doesn't add to your narrative. Debunk all the other possibilities before you go that route. That is all I'm saying, please.
But aren't these codependent relationships? And then I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said. You're going around calling everybody else narcissists because they don't agree with your narrative. Who indeed is actually the narcissist in that equation?
I was gonna ask that same question, Mika. I swear.
Oof, man. Go ahead. Take it.
Oh,
I
you're a
knew it.
narcissist.
I
You're a
knew she was
narcissist.
going to do that.
You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. Why don't we look in the mirror and see why we keep deflecting or creating issues where there probably aren't any issues, because in fact we are indeed the narcissist in the equation. I think that's what you were really getting down to, is like, you know, and I can't say that narcissism is actually the ego. It's not. The ego is different. That's a multi-dimensional word. I'll put it that way. That ego, 3 letters, but it has so many different dimensions when it comes to that. Narcissism is I'm going to stand on my firm beliefs that this is a codependent relationship. In order to be narcissistic, you have to depend on somebody else's failure or behavior in order for you to feel the way superior to them. And to me, that is just BS. But they can't help the way that they are. But if they recognize that this is a character flaw of themselves and they seek treatment, you can indeed help yourself.
J2.
In this situation, when you are the person receiving that type of behavior, I'm going to tell you, honestly, I had to stop that shit, because my husband is not a narcissist. His best friend, however, is. So when he came home doing that bullshit, no, sir. You take accountability for your shit, okay? How you feel is not dependent on, that's your best friend's bullshit. Don't come over here with that. And if you want to live that way, then you go live with your best friend. You know what I mean? Because these are behavioral traits that you can pick up. And if you allow that shit to go on in your house, I could be sitting up here dealing with someone who has developed this. But my husband has always had accountability for his actions. So holding him accountable for his actions and not allowing him to pick up that, because that's what worked for that man and his wife. You know what I mean? I'm not his wife. So I don't deal with that shit. So if you want that type of narrative in your world, these are my words to my husband, and you go over there and live. I'm gonna be here happy without this codependent nonsense, because you don't need me for you to be validated for the man that you are. You were the man
I appreciate you.
Without me before you met me.
I got you guys. I'm gonna let you guys up in a second.
You know what I mean? So that's okay. That's just my little point in there. That's me just breaking shit down the way that I think. I can be wrong.
How could you be wrong about your own experience?
I was about to say that. You can't be wrong.
But what I'm saying is, like, it can be perceived. Remember, perception is realism for other people. How they perceive what I'm seeing. Yeah,
but think about it this way, right?
It's true.
How she feels. Not how I feel is how I
That's
feel.
That's hilarious.
But think about it this way, right? Think about it this way. Even your perception or how they perceive you is another way of learning. So either they're gonna take the information as a learning tool or as something as knowledge, or they're gonna be ignorant to what you said and not take it in. Either way, you're not wrong.
Right.
I'm glad. You cannot be wrong about your reality, first of all, because that's how you see things. Think about what I'm saying.
Also, it's not like it doesn't happen in real life, even outside of this whole scenario. When you hang out with someone for a long period of time, or you do something with someone for a long period of time, you start to pick up like traits from them, both of y'all. So you start doing things their way at times, not even realizing it. It's just by nature.
Right. Honestly. And I want everybody to understand and listen to my words. Do not nitpick the words out of what somebody's saying and then create some bullshit in your head. Because I've seen it a few times in the chat. I've seen it a few times in the chat. You guys ain't slick. Pay attention to what's being said in full capacity and stop nitpicking certain words and trying to put something together.
Can I say
We're
something?
not doing that.
If it don't apply, let it fly. Also,
conversation. What we're having here, let's go ahead and put this out there, okay? Let's just go ahead and just, for educational purposes only, guys, we are having a conscious conversation, which entails listening for understanding, not to respond.
so just to touch that, the codependency that we're talking about is that I said it earlier. It's a reference, but there's a little truth to that. For every narcissist, there's an empath. You understand what I'm saying? For every empath, there's a narcissist, because empaths like to take care of people, and narcissists need to be taken care of because they come first, right? So here's another. Before we bring people up, I want to make an extreme point, and this is going to change the perception of a lot of people. You ready for this? Before you go down the road of calling people names, before you go down the road of making self-diagnosis, ask yourself, is the behavior that you're displaying a choice? Let me say that one more time, because this totally went over everybody's head, because it went over my own head and I said it. All right. So when you recognize what level a person is in, because do they have the ability to see what they're doing? Or are they choosing to ignore it? Those are big factors when it comes to diagnosis, when it comes to treatment, when it comes to understanding and understanding. Let's get into this, okay? If a person has the ability to understand, if they can see what they're doing and what they're causing, that's not always the case. Some people know exactly what they're doing. That doesn't exempt them. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Some people are good. Some people are good at hiding it. Some people are good at using other tactics and finding other ways to keep their narrative going, right? But at the end of the day, ask yourself, before you self-diagnose yourself or you start diagnosing everybody else, because everybody's a psychiatrist on TikTok, right? So before you start doing that, use the word choice. Is there a place for choice in your behavior? Are you choosing to do this? Are you lacking emotional intelligence?
We're about to let you up right now.
Are you lacking emotional intelligence to the point where you don't understand the difference between a thought to a feeling to an emotion, where now you are forced to react because you allowed yourself to go down the rabbit hole of no control? Woo.
What did we discuss earlier before we let him up? What did we discuss earlier? What was the main component of what we were talking about when we were talking about the weight loss? Said you make a conscious decision every day to choose to be healthy, to choose to be happy, to choose to eat a certain way, to choose to have a good day. You make that decision when you open your eyes and you say, today's going to be an amazing day. Or all shit, I'm up.
So that I'm with you.
Right?
So
that starts your day right there. Yeah. The minute you open your eyes and you're like, it's Monday.
Yeah,
somebody else subscribe. Broham, thank you for the subscription, brother. I appreciate you, Broham.
Stop using words loosely. Do yourself the favor, and people always do that. Oh, you got these Google definitions. Okay, that means you don't look things up. All right. It doesn't stop with the Google definition. There's books on this that go deeper into it. You know?
I'm just gonna mute you, Melania.
So go ahead,
okay.
people.
No worries.
Go ahead, people. Please, I encourage people to do the research, but be very careful where you get your information from. Don't talk to one psychiatrist to have a conversation. Like, there's a difference between going to a psychiatrist for therapy and having a conversation with a psychiatrist. You understand what I'm saying? Go to different people. I've talked to 100 psychiatrists, 100 psychologists, 100 coaches, 100 motivational speakers, and guess what? I learned something different from each and every one of them. I couldn't get to where I'm at right now without the diverse education that I got from the streets, from schooling.
What's good, bro? Welcome in.
So please stop limiting yourself to things that when you first hear it, they go, that's it. That's the answer. No, it's incomplete. Continue down that path of learning and add More ammunition to your knowledge. Let's
Hey,
go.
bro.
So before we dive into letting people, well, we got two people up here, to ask Q&As and ask questions from what they heard and the knowledge that was given. I need everybody to tap the screen, man. Tap the screen, tap the screen. Keep the comments going because the comments is what's bringing everybody in here. Everybody's saying that they've seen us on the FYP, so that means what we're doing is working. So let's keep tapping the screen. Let's keep sharing out the live. Let's keep the comments going. Make sure y'all communicating within yourselves in the chat. We're trying our best to also look at questions that's popping up in the chat as well. So we appreciate all 64 of you. Oh, that is so fire!
What was that?
What was that?
Hey, King Homie.
It looked like a race. It looked like a driving dog or something.
That's your gift goal.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
That's
that was
fire.
your gift goal. That was
Is
dope.
that the Dotson? That's your nephew. I got two.
So yeah, I appreciate you, Darcel. Thank you for that. That was dope.
I was say, what's up, Darcel? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Right. She actually resubscribed today too. I appreciate that.
That's what's up.
All right. So we got a new person in the box. It's Milani. Welcome in. I hope I'm saying your name right. Because that's how my goddaughter's name is pronounced and spelled. Welcome in for the first time. How are you?
I'm a mate. Oh, can you hear me? It's my first time.
Yeah.
Awesome
Yep.
sauce. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. First off, let's bring some peace, some love, and joy. I want to speak over myself as well as others in the conversation. You are right. It's my first time. Actually, even on live. Wow.
Let's go.
Yes.
This is your first time and you dare come up here to talk about this subject? No, just kidding.
Right. And again, I'm not a professional by any means. Majority of us within the 90% of the population, we're not. We're walking our own individual paths, first off. Narcissism is something that I've recently been introduced to. I think post-COVID is when it kind of blew up. And so that's when I was made aware of the topic. I've also, for myself and my own journey, initially, I dived deep into it. I'm a huge proponent of learning. I love to learn. A wise woman knows nothing, first off. But then for myself, I have learned that, and this is a little bit of esotericism, as above, so below, as within, so without. Nothing outside of me could ever delegate my experience, right? And when I was...
Oh, that was PBR? Okay, sorry. Continue.
Oh, you're fine. And so, for myself, and I guess, because I do see that there are some people with, on here, and again, your knowledge is definitely, a testament to your journey. And for me, what I came to understand being where I'm at, there's a lot of competitive mindset out here, And so I saw narcissism more or less as something that can be applied to everybody. It's just the, how can I say, I'm going to use the word the amount of it that you have within yourself. It's a competitive mindset. It's a survival mindset. And so when you're looking at it because I come not religious, right, but more spirituality. And there's an abundance of resources out here. We're taught lack. And so when you've encountered a person that is not elevated in such a manner that is stuck in that crab of the bottom of the bucket mentality, then it's about tearing down that's what is in front of you to make you feel bigger and better. And that's why I say, for me, I think we all have a level of it within. It's just some have it more than others. Going down this path, I've had to learn to go within. If I see a situation that is not reflecting as above, meaning your head space, your heaven space, below, meaning the body. So if you are, and again, I'm not speaking as far as anyone that has been medically diagnosed with any type of term. I'm not saying that. I'm not, again, I'm just speaking from experience. But if it takes the same amount of mental capacity to smile as it does to frown. Right? So if I'm consistently having a negative loop upstairs, meaning in my mind, what am I now projecting? What am I now, manifesting within my reality, co-creation? And I think, unfortunately, some of the topics that I've delved into, we see it as taboo, but it actually helps encompass your understanding of what is our subjective reality. And I said, oh my goodness. But yes, I'm definitely open. I think you guys are awesome. On another note, I am in awe with the journey and the accomplishments that you guys have, displayed, especially with the weight loss journey. That is huge. When you can look at yourself and love yourself as you were created, sweetheart, no one can bring you down, But thank you guys so much for having me. This is I wish you guys an amazing day and a wonderful weekend. And I'm gonna stay on and I'll just listen. Okay, I don't know how to get out of here.
I got you. We got you covered.
What a delightful testament.
Yes.
Before you decide to dip out of here, we're not gonna leave without giving you your I'm proud of you moments. Okay, because everybody deserves those. We're proud of you. Yes. First of all, you came up here on your first time talking about this topic.
Yes.
That can easily make or break somebody just coming up here talking about this particular topic. And the fact it's your first time coming up here and you exude so much energy, it's like some God-given, heaven-sent energy. So and this is the type of energy that we actually bring in here. So you are in the perfect environment for this. You're with the right amount of individuals, the good amount of individuals to be a part of this environment. So we thank you so much. Congratulations on being on live for your first time. Congratulations on your journey and your process. I will send you a message after this, and I will invite you to my Discord.
You got it. And remember, you guys, you are more than enough. You woke up this morning, baby. Let's go.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
Okay,
I got you. I'll drop you down.
Yeah, you're gonna have to disconnect because I don't know.
I got you.
It didn't take long, right? It didn't take a long time to get the message across, right?
She came fire blazing with positivity. That's what we need. We are here, and I want to just keep this in mind, guys. We are all here together to learn. We are all here together to heal. We are all here together to create and foster positive environments within ourselves, right? As I always say, when we are here, anything that you take from here is for you and not anybody else. It is for you to think about, for you to process, for you to write down, for you to journal, for you to take in this information and try to be the better version of yourself that you've never seen before. And understand that it's okay that if you've never seen that person before, because that person has never been manifested before. When that person starts to manifest and show itself, don't be afraid. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Push towards it. Start asking questions.
And even if you go, listen, it's not only going to the person that you've never seen before. You can go back to the person you was, but you can't stay there. You see, this is what people have to mistake. Like there's a road that you have, right? And if you veer off the road, you can't just go back on the road. You got to go back to where the toxicity is. You got to go back to what made you push yourself off the road. You have to make sure that you understand why you are not who you are, but you can't be that person anymore because you allowed yourself to fail. You allowed yourself to be engulfed by negativity. So you can't, your only reason why you can go back to the old self is to become a better self. Does that make sense?
100%.
And I got a twister real quick, but I'm not gonna say it yet because I want to hear from Positive Vibes. Because after I have a twister, so I don't want to twist what she has to say.
Hold on to it. Okay, yeah. Hold on to it. Mika, look at she's on the phone. She's talking to somebody. Mama G, got something you want to say before we let Positive go?
Nope, I'm here learning. When I'm writing in the chat, you can let Positive go if you want.
Okay. Positive, take the floor. Welcome in for the third time this week.
Hello.
Third time in a week. It seems like you're growing over here. So let's do it.
Yes, I'm enjoying the topics. I can't lie. From somebody who is a behavior therapist, and what we do in practice, and I know Mika understands this. We take away words. So this is actually going to kind of piggyback off of what Hormiga had to say, because he says, "Are they aware? Are they aware of what they had to do?" 9 times out of 10, if you tell yourself you're not aware, you're lying to yourself. 9 times out of 10, if you are a human being like I am, with blood flowing through your veins and a heart in your chest, and you cannot sit down and look at the person in the mirror and tell yourself you know right from wrong, because when you know better, you do better. You take away all words, because 9 times out of 10, if you look at a 2-year-old child and they're sitting there and they don't get their way, what do? They tantrum. What is a person that becomes narcissistic or has narcissistic tendencies or has narcissism? I'm not going to say a disorder, because disorder, that means you're diagnosed, you have something that's going on, and that's something out of your control. However, if you have narcissism and you have the perspective of a narcissist because your behaviors are coming off and your tendencies are coming off as a narcissist, that means you're making a very, very conscious choice to make decisions in yourself, and you're being selfish about your choices, and you're making choices that are bettering yourself and not the best of yourself and everybody around you. You are not being conscious of those people around you. You're just being conscious of yourself. Don't mind my little 2-year-old in the background.
You're good. You're good.
We're here for it, and knowing that you have children of that age with a person like you, then that makes me feel very comfortable.
Yes, sir. Like I have, this is actually my 2.5-year-old autistic granddaughter. I have a 7-month-old grandson that I'm raising myself. I also work on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with children from the age of 2 years old up to 18 in behavior therapy. So what we do is we take them from the unknown, because obviously if you don't know or you're unaware, it doesn't matter whether you have a mental disorder or not. If you are not aware of how your behaviors are affecting those around you or how it works on both sides, you're not going to know the differences. So I actually tend to deal with most of our aggressive and maladaptive clients, which tends to mean that they have the tendencies to scream, scratch, bite, hit, do everything. But the one thing that I can tell you is that's all a form of communication. And when somebody does not know how to communicate, that is the way they do communicate. But when you start to teach them and they know better, they do better. So if somebody who doesn't know better does get taught better and they make a choice at that point, that is a conscious choice to be the person you're being towards other people and those around you. You have to be honest with the person in the mirror. And I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, Mika or Hormiga, this is where my question comes in. But you have to be able to take away all the words that you're trying to make as a quote unquote reason or excuse, and look at the behaviors and actions and the choices of what you're doing to affect yourself and those around you. Because like I said, it goes hand in hand with my last comment that I made in our last live. When you make a choice, it affects 20 people, regardless of whether it's a positive choice or a negative choice. You're always going to affect 20 people and have a reaction and a consequence to what your choices are, regardless of whether you intend for it to be good. Your intentions are just that. They're intentions. You're doing it with what you intend for an outcome to become. Your intention is not what the actual outcome will become. Realistically, you're giving a realism perspective in your perspective. Realism will be the fact of how the actual outcome comes, because real means fact. Realism means perspective. Correct? Am I taking that incorrectly?
Nobody's gonna stop you.
No, you're right on the ball with that one.
But I do have a question for you, because you mentioned something that's incredible. I saw how you piggybacked on the choice, right? Here's the thing. I'm a firm believer that you only get to be ignorant once.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. And I've also heard that there's a point in life where you can no longer use ignorance as an excuse for you not to take accountability. What do you think about that?
I am 100% on board with that, because accountability is the key in any narcissist or narcissism disorder to even start to try to heal themselves. Because if you cannot take accountability and be honest with the choices and decisions that you make for yourself, then how can you be honest with how you are even affecting another person outside of yourself?
Right.
How can you mean an apology? How can you mean anything that you say or that you're doing if you can't even mean what you're saying and be real with the person in the mirror?
So not knowing that you're doing something, it's not an excuse for your behavior.
No.
Ooh, say that one more time. You say it, because I like the way you say it. You say it, Positive Vibes.
When you're sitting there and you're going through things, the last time you pretty much made a conscious choice to do these choices, you cannot use that as an excuse or a reason to be or do the choices you're making. Because last I checked, at about 5 years old or kindergarten, we were all taught that golden. And
Wow.
that took away the opportunity to use ignorance as an opportunity to treat somebody wrong.
So you know what I call someone that knows better but chooses not to take accountability? I call that victimization.
I
What do
can
you
see
think
that.
about that? You see, because
I can see that.
we all look for reasons to brush things under the rug, right? We all look for ways to make life easy. We don't want to go through the trials and tribulations that everybody explains, but what nobody pays attention is to what happens when you put the work in. Like, what is the end result of you putting in the effort? And we're not just talking about any type of effort, because you could be running in place and not going anywhere. You could
Right.
you could have
And
what I call a mental treadmill, right?
I love exactly where you're going with this. Go ahead.
So you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
effort alone, just showing up is not enough.
Nope.
Just it's good. It's a good start, right? It's a good foundational piece. But what you do with what you're doing and what you say, because I'm a firm believer that if you put it out and you don't follow up on what you're doing, you yourself are putting yourself in a position not to believe in your own self.
Correct. And you're setting yourself up for failure. The other thing of it is that as a behavior therapist, the one thing that I can say on this is when we take away the words and just look at the behaviors, you have to give yourself the chance and opportunity to show up every day and actually put the effort and put forth the actual, I can't even say effort because it has to be more than effort. You have to actually put forth the work. You have to put in the sweat, tears, and the blood. And then you're going to have some days where you're going to sit there and you're going to cry and it's going to hurt and it's going to not, I can't say sting because a lot of people want to use that sugar coated fluffy word of sting. No, it's going to hurt. It's going to down to your core feel like you're going to break and you're going to shatter and you're going to fall to pieces. However, if you push through and you go through, you're going to realize that each of these days you progressed a little bit more. And in behavior therapy, we believe the same thing, because if you think about it, when a child tantrums, for all the parents in here and anybody who's ever seen a 2-year-old child tantruming, they kick, they cry, they scream. It's attention-seeking behavior, right? And the more you give them the attention, the more that they continue to cry, kick, scream, and wail and cry and kick their feet. Here's an instance for you. My wife and I were driving down the street yesterday, and I was explaining something from behavior therapy to her. I told her how you use your words and the way you speak to somebody definitely matters in the choice of what you can get them to do. Her daughter was sitting in our stepdaughter, my daughter, she's our 16-year-old or 14-year-old. She just turned 14. And I was like, now, any 14-year-old, you want them to get them to do anything, they're going to look at you and tell you, if you tell them straight out, do this, they're going to tell you, no, I'm not doing that. Forget you, like whatever, right? So we're driving down the road. Mind you, my eyes are on the road. I'm behind the steering wheel. And I just looked at my wife. I said, watch this. I said, I'm going to do something. I said, don't say anything. I said, just observe what's about to happen. She said, okay. I said, I looked at her daughter. I said, hey, do I said, bark like a dog. The way I said it is I said it just like that. And she said, what? Exactly. Just like Mama G's face right now. Her eyebrows scrunched down like, what? Excuse me? No. And no, forget that. Like, and I was like, exactly. Thank you. I said, now do me a favor. I want to show your mom you will listen, bark like a dog. She's like, are you for real? Like, still scrunched her eyebrows, looked at me, are you for real? Got the smile on her face, saw into what I was doing, and I was like, bark. Okay. The reason behind what she did was that she realized I explained why I needed her to do what I was doing. 9 times out of 10, a person is going to be resentful or push away from anything you're showing them if you cannot explain to them why it's going to apply to them. Everybody is a case-by-case scenario, and the one thing a lot of people on this app especially do, y'all try to take something that you think is universal, and it's not. There's nothing in mental health that's universal. It's a case-by-case scenario. You have to figure out what works for you. You can't take everything and apply it to yourself and be like, okay, well, I have this tendency, I have this tendency, I have this tendency. Because I promise you, if I went to Google the other day when I went to the ER for my tooth abscess that I had to get some antibiotics for and I was okay, it told me I was dying of lymphoma. Okay, like, I mean, you have to understand these things. Like, you can't go based off of what you're self-diagnosing, like Hormiga was saying, because the simple fact is you could put something very serious on yourself and it be a smaller thing. The thing about it is there's things called ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, that goes into the narcissism traits and narcissistic disorder. There are pathological avoidance disorder. There are, PTSD. There's all kinds of things that these trees break down into, that once you do go into diagnoses of depression and all these things, and this is why we say do not self-diagnose, because if you could be giving yourself something wrong and it be one or two things, when in reality these come with a list of things that go on, and you treat each individual thing. I promise you, starting with ODD, I'm a big firm believer on treating ODD and pathological avoidance, because if you can go ahead and start with those, a person will understand more of their behaviors and what they have going on and what is going on with them than not. Because 9 times out of 10, if we're adults where we are in our generation, this stuff was not diagnosed when we were little. This stuff was told you, hey, you're just being a little asshole. Hey, you're not listening. Hey, you're being a little fucker. Like, no, we're not. We literally have something in our brain that tells us, hey, you're not, you need to do this. You don't need to do what they're telling you to do. Hey, there's actually a misfire in your brain and a chemical imbalance that tells you not to listen to somebody. And a lot of people aren't even aware of that with oppositional defiant disorder.
That was deep. That was deep.
I'm gonna work with her on this one. Check this out.
Well, we got about an hour, and I want to keep in mind.
All I need is 2 minutes just to wrap up what she said. I want to unpack something.
Go for it.
All right. I'm not the type to promote my book, right? But in my book,
promote your book.
No,
why you don't promote your book?
This is kind of a soft sell. Look, in my book, I have a chapter here. It's called Judgment.
Hold on, put you in the big box.
It's judgment, right? And the thing about judgment is, I have something that breaks down what an asshole is, and there's 5 different types of assholes. You see, here's the thing: most people are assholes, right? And my question to you is, what is the difference between an asshole and a narcissist?
You can go ahead and tell me now, because I know with that look on your face, you got a whole trick answer for that one.
To be quite honest with you, your answer, his answer, her answer, they're all valid.
Okay.
They're all valid. So I'm asking you, and there's no right or wrong answer here. This is not a trick question.
I don't think there's a difference between a narcissist and an asshole.
I honestly think an asshole has narcissism. So I think an asshole has narcissistic traits.
Okay.
I don't think they can be a full blown narcissist or anything of that nature, because we're all assholes in our own mind, in our own way, right? So we have, and like we all say, we've collectively said, we all have narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
So like a certain level to it, because yes, most of us have asshole-ism is in us, right? But there are certain people who are like
full-blown assholes
while we're down here, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
No, I'm with you.
Well, no, I mean, I get what you mean, Mama G, but at the end of the day, if you think about it like this, somebody can take you from being down here to up there real quick if they want to see if you want to match their assholeness too.
Okay,
so
but
it depends on what level you go with them.
But there's a difference between you matching somebody's energy and somebody actually being an asshole, and you just giving an asshole back what they gave you. Like there's a difference, correct?
No, there's definitely a difference.
So
yeah,
I don't
there's
think
definitely a difference.
Here, remember the word play?
I think real quick. I'm positive. Can you move real quick?
The baby agrees with me. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that.
I want it, my
So I wanna keep in mind with wordplay, right? We gotta be mindful of wordplay and what we're saying. There's levels, like Armika said, there's levels to what an asshole can be, right? But there's also levels to what a narcissist can be. There's levels to it. Matching somebody's energy is not a full-blown asshole. Matching somebody's energy is you embodying who that person is to kind of combat them in a defensive manner. For me, anyway, that's to be kind of using defense as offense, in a sense, if you're matching somebody's energy, because obviously what you're doing on a regular basis doesn't seem to be working. So you feel like you got to match their energy to kind of debunk what the fuck they're doing to you. But there's a catch-22 to that. You lose yourself in the process.
Bingo.
I mean, for the moment, yeah.
Bingo. See,
No,
that's what I'm trying
sometimes
to
it could
tell
be
you.
permanent.
Look,
Sometimes it could be permanent because you got to think about it.
If you allow it to, like, if you
Agreed.
allow the embodiment to stay there, yes. But if you just match an energy and move on with your life and continue to be how you used to be,
But think about it. Think about it, though. Think about it. Be mindful. We're open-minded. We're trying to be open-minded today, right? That's what we're all doing
But you
today.
pick up the tendency of the habit of starting to match energies with everybody else that happens around you, and you start to do it with everybody.
You are right about that, positive, but I wasn't even going there. But you are right about that. But keep in mind, some people, when I'm telling you negative attracts energy, and negative energy attracts like it's poison. Okay? So when you first get that taste of matching their energy and you realize how good that shit feels, you keep doing it. You're going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and not realize that you literally embodied the person that you dislike the most. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that it feeds. It feeds like wow. It's like putting gasoline on a fire. It just spreads.
look.
I'm just saying.
That is wild. That is, listen, this you see, understand how something simple that I said can turn into a big thing. I'm gonna tell you why. I've done, and I'm gonna throw it out there. I think there's nobody on earth that's done more research about assholes than me. I've looked up this word in every type of dictionary and every medical book. Guess what? There is no information about assholes, guys. I hate to tell you this, but here's the good part about this.
Mm-mm.
The reason why I put that in the judgment chapter in my book, I'm gonna tell you why. Because sometimes we're quick to call somebody an asshole, and it could just be a random act of immaturity.
Oh.
Wait
Amen.
for it. Let it hit your
No,
stomach.
I'm there. I'm there. I promise you, I'm here with you. That's why I'm just like.
So a full-blown asshole, the worst asshole there is the one that leads with it. They don't have no problem where it's at. It could be a wedding, it could be a funeral. They just don't have any class. They're very tasteless. They always got to say something stupid. They always got to, but guess what? There is actually a place for assholes, and they also say that the most successful people in the world are assholes, and they have to be an asshole in order to be successful in this type of world and competition, narcissism, and mental health that we live in right now.
Let's go with the 75K. So
real
before
quick,
we
wait, real quick before you go, we got the 75K, the 75K light goal. We still have 51 more minutes. Can we please try to reach 100K light goal? It's worth it. It's informative. Y'all been here. Y'all enjoying the conversation. Please tap the mother screen. If all lives out of TikTok deserve the fucking 100K plus likes, it's this live. Y'all tap the screen when it's drama. You can tap the screen when it's informative. Thank you very much.
So I want to let Frosty go real quick before we even get to this last video, right? Because this last video is a good one, right? And I'll even give you guys the title of the video: 2 real example cases of treating narcissism.
Good luck with that.
Right. So, Frosty, first of all, before you go, thank you so much for this topic, right? Because honestly, I never, in my right mind, even thought about doing something this wild. Because you've actually never seen it done on TikTok ever. Like, we've never seen where we bring the perspective of the narcissist from the doctor's perspective, not the narcissist, but the doctor's perspective. So, first of all, thank you so much. Go ahead and take the floor.
Real quick, someone asked you to repeat the title real quick before Frosty goes. I'm sorry, Frosty.
Sure, I got you. The healing of a narcissist from the doctor's perspective. So go ahead, Frosty, take the floor.
First thing is, you're welcome. And I'm going to try to do this without crying. I'm very emotional right now. I think that this is, working out fabulous. There are people in my life that are very important to me that have been diagnosed with narcissism. And I think that Harm, he touched on it. And this is my belief anyway. This is just my belief that even though that you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed with narcissism or bipolar, just certain things, I believe that that's an awareness of traits that you have really deep inside of you. Okay. And so, yes, I've been diagnosed with this, but also, like he said, I don't think there are many there's none that I know of that have actually done this type of healing journey, along with knowing their traits and things, as far as like somebody diagnosed with narcissism. So we can't say that I can't say that a narcissist, if you're diagnosed, that you cannot heal. How many of those do we know that are doing this? Just like us, like I didn't know anything about this, right? I didn't know the things that I was doing. This ingrained in me as a child, just as many narcissist things have. When you have something as a 3-year-old child that you have brought into your life and became part of your world and your mechanisms, your coping mechanisms, those are things that you didn't choose as a 3-year-old. But now you're 40 and you're like, what the fuck is happening to me? If you get to this point of this journey that you can do that first, what the fuck, in that awakening, then you have room to grow. You have the ability to say, because then you've seen, oh, there's something different, but I've seen so many go, no, I've been diagnosed with this. There's no help for me. And I do believe that this type of journey with healing and shadow work and things may be the answer, just like it was for me, even though I've not been diagnosed with anything, to come out of this. And I so appreciate you guys doing this in this manner with the kindness, because I know we've had so many, and you can find everywhere on TikTok how to escape a narcissist. I mean, there's no problem. You try to look up on TikTok, there are a couple that have, gone through some journeys, but it is difficult for these people to find resources to help them. But I believe that this is the resource. This is the type of resource that can heal the trauma and the wounds. I just appreciate you guys.
Sure, of course.
And Amika said that, I told him before, I said, when I first came on here, it was a lot for me to sit with him. I'm like, this dude is arrogant as hell. I don't know. But I had matured enough to say, I don't know anything about him. That is my first, pop thought in my head. Well, I don't like those pop thoughts. That's what I'm trying to get out of. I'm like, I want to stay here. I could possibly learn something. And also, our first instincts is something that we've always done in our life. And how are we going to learn if we can't get past those triggers and things? So that's just a slight trigger, right? This guy's irritating me. I think he's fabulous. The words, I've got a lot from him. So I appreciate him. I appreciate everybody here. And just thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. And like I said, it was a difficult. And you know what's crazy is, if anybody was on that call, you guys know that I never even thought about saying no. No was never. It was the furthest thought of my mind, because it was like the conversation we had was so organic on that call. Like it was just flowing so well that there was no thought in my mind for me to be like, no, I'm not doing it. Let's do it. What's the worst that can happen besides me getting canceled on TikTok? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just for having this live. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Me getting canceled on TikTok? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, all right, cancel me, shit. But you know what? It needs to happen, because how many times have we gone into these negative ass lives where they're attacking the narcissist because of what they did? Don't get it twisted. Yes, there's some full blown narcissists that don't deserve to be on that don't deserve to breathe the air that they breathe. But there's some people that will take accountability for their shit and be like, I want to be better. I want to be better. And I want to be a part of society and not be that negative person that brings negativity to this world. So when you have that person that's there and that's trying to figure it out, they need to find the help. And believe it or not, Diana Diamond, she did just that. She did just that. I'm going to post the videos on the Discord, by the way, guys, so that way you guys can have access to it. But she did just that. She dived into it in a way that a therapist or a doctor wouldn't want to dive into it. They just wanted to diagnose somebody and put them on their way, give them medication, yada, and that was it. That was it. She was like, no, we're not doing that. We need to figure out what's going on. Let's really go into it. Go ahead, Bujo.
And I think what I love about it is, okay, so at the end of the day, everyone who's been with a narcissist also knows that you're coming out of trauma, right? And a lot of times, because we are the ones that were the victim of said trauma, it's hard for us to understand that they too are victims of trauma. A lot of times their narcissism comes from trauma. And so why is it okay for me to get help, but not okay for them to get help for their trauma? Because essentially that's what it is. And so you tell a man he can never be better, and he'll never try to be better because you're already telling him he won't be, so he believes that he can't be. And so then the vicious cycle just continues. You take everything away from a man, you say you're not worth anything, then why be better? There's no reason to be. But whenever you allow him and you say, you know what, you got this, I believe in you, like I know that you can do better, be better, pray for him to do better kind of thing, then he's starting to say, okay, look, I've obviously got some things that's not right, and I need to figure out what the root of the problem is. But if you tell a narcissist that they are hopeless, they're going to live in that forever. And that's part of society. Like, we're part of the blame for that. We are part of the blame for the vicious cycle of the narcissism.
And you know what makes it even worse is the second that comes out your mouth, guess what he's going to do, or she's going to do? Find another victim to attack because of your bullshit, because of the things that came out your mouth. They're going to try to find somebody else that they can now attack and antagonize and break down and destroy day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, because of the words that came out of your mouth. Because even though they know that they're a narcissist, if they do know that they're a narcissist, in the back of their mind, they do want to be better, but they don't know how. They don't know how. But if the person that they're with or they've been with for umpteen amount of years, when they get to that process where they completely heal, and then you be like, you're never gonna be shit, you ain't shit, nobody's gonna really want to be with you or love you for real because of the way that you are. That shit hurts. And I don't care what anybody says, that shit hurts. That not even just for the narcissist, just in general. Hearing those words, that's a dagger. Like, that's constantly just being stabbed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot.
One of the strongest things that Frosty had said in that call was that we so badly want to, like, stop the narcissist from being a narcissist that we become just as bad as they are. Because we tear them down just as much as they tear us down. And so what makes us better than they are if we're doing the exact same thing? It's understanding the why behind the what. And I know that it's not very easy to do. And it took me a long time to figure out my ex-husband's why behind his what and the way that he treated me and the things that he did to me. Does it excuse the behavior? No, absolutely not. It is not okay. It is not acceptable. You do not let someone abuse you. But what you can understand is why he treats people that way, so that you can forgive him, for you to move forward, to release the trauma for yourself, to move forward and not live as a victim of your circumstance, but
that's her daughter.
To be free of it.
Okay.
Real quick, one of the things that people fail to see, one of the most important facets of a relationship is compromise. But when I talk about relationships, people really quickly to add somebody else to that factor. I'm talking about the relationship with yourself. We do not self-compromise. This is what this looks like. You ever heard this term, hurt people hurt people?
Mm-hmm.
Not every hurt person hurts people. So here's the problem. That we run with things that sound good. We're not compromising. We're allowing something to dictate because it sounds good. This is what I suggest to people. Look at things for the value that it brings. Look at things for the value that it brings. It is not the only outlet. In order to solve a problem, we need to understand what the problem is, right? We have to be aware of the problem. We have to know where it's originating from, and then we need to load up on the different types of mechanisms that we could use to adjust the behavior that caused it in the first place. If we're not doing this process, all we're doing is enabling. That's number one. Number two, when you look at things and you don't, and you look at something in what's called absolution, when you're absolute about something, guess what? You become a fan, you become an advocate, you become a facilitator. And then guess what? You use that tactic for everything that you do in life. You got to use different methods for different options, for different people, for different situations, because we are all versatile. Humans switch up so fast. Like, I've seen it. You've seen it. You've been in a conversation with someone that one second they're with you, and then the next moment they're like against you. You're like, what the hell just happened? That's humans for you. And that's the math in life. Remember what I told you? I'm going to say it again. The prayer that they talk about, God, give me the strength to deal with the things that I can't control. You can't control other people. You can't control other people. So here's the thing, that most people try to control other people instead of controlling themselves.
Let's go with the subwave, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Amen. I love that you said that, because I actually just posted my second letter that I wrote to my ex. And so my way of like venting or getting my feelings out is through journaling. And whenever I don't really know what to say or how to say it, I find myself writing letters to the man that I was married to. And in my very last letter that I wrote to him, it was supposed to be our wedding, and would have been our third wedding anniversary. And I'm like, nah, I'm tired of being like sad over the failed marriage that should have never happened. In my letter, I wrote that it was he put me in God's ultimate test of faith. He made me realize the things that I could change, and like let go of what I couldn't change. He gave me, because of the situation we're in, he gave me the wisdom to know the difference between what I could and could not change. And I found the courage that I had within myself in order to change the things that I could. But it's understanding that the way that they react to you, you can't change that. You can only change the way that you act.
But let me add a little potato chip, right? Let me add a little potato chip to that. Now, we can't change people.
I got you right after Mama G.
We can't change people, but you see how I said a statement? We can't change people, right? Don't run with that, because we could influence them. We could hold them accountable. We could teach them by being a leader, right?
Amen.
We need one more step. Listen, we could teach them by leading by example, because that's what a true leader is. Inadvertently, we could do things, there's reverse psychology. Sometimes you have to show people what they lose in order to see what they are about to, not gain. You understand what I'm saying? So again, no, we cannot change people. They have to do it themselves, but we are very influential in the things that we do. We are very, we can use a leadership role to show people how things are supposed to be. Take somebody out of the element and put them in a place where everybody functions out of love, where everybody functions from a positive place. They feel extremely uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Mama G, go for it.
So, also, I think one of the main things we gotta also understand and really like think of most importantly is if that person willing to change, because no matter if you hop around, skip around, if you got this positive vibe, energy, etc., you set a good example, they don't want to change, you're wasting your fucking time. You're wasting your time. The best thing that you can do for yourself and that person is to walk away sometimes, unfortunately. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much you want them to be living the best life possible, like, you might just have to walk the fuck away. Because if they don't want to change, what are you doing? You're setting yourself up for failure, for heartbreak,
Mama G, this is exactly why
I got you, Mark, right after, bro.
This is exactly why I keep trying to tell people that there are options. Sometimes doing nothing is the strongest thing. Sometimes walking away is the strongest thing. Sometimes staying in there and fighting is the right thing. But you're not gonna know what the right thing is if you're not flexible, right? And you don't practice it. If you don't practice it, right, and you're not flexible, then you're gonna do things the same way with everybody that you do with everybody else. So right. I applaud you for saying that, Mama G. That was excellent.
Facts. I heard, Mark, you just unmuted. Go ahead and take the floor, and then I'll play the video right after.
Alright, hey guys, it's nice being with you guys.
Likewise, likewise.
Yeah, I know Hominga for like a long time. I've been following him. That's the reason being how I end up on this live, which is really nice today. I appreciate you guys talking about, these things, because I went through it when I was in my teen with my older sister and my dad, and I didn't know such words, as narcissists, because we all came from Haiti, came from Haiti.
Why are you saying? Why are you saying? Okay.
So I came from Haiti when I was 15. It was like all like 9 of us, including my grandma. But my sister, the way she was, she will basically talk to my dad against us, against the boys. It's 8 of us. He's trying to tell my dad, against us, so that basically what he was doing is that paying for everything for her. Us, he wasn't doing much for us. To a point where she would be like, hey, she would even call me a dumbass, saying I'm a dummy, every single time. And my dad was also doing the same thing. One thing that killed me the most when I was younger, I waited for my dad to come from work, and he came from work. He sat on the chair in the kitchen. I was like, 15. I went to my dad. I hugged him, and I'm like, Dad, I love you, Dad. I went back to the room. He was like, okay, cool. So he was like, I'm busy right now. Let me talk to my mom, which is my grandma. So I went back to the room. For some reason, my grandma had something to do too, so she kind of left. And then he was talking to my older sister, which, and then he was actually mocking me and laughing, saying, "Oh, I love you, Dad. He sound like a dumbass." Blah, blah, blah. He was, and then I'm actually in the room next to him. He taking that the whole, like I can't hear him, but I was hearing everything. That kind of killed me when that happened, and I promised myself to never say that word to him again. And every time he will keep telling me, you're dumb, you can get anywhere and all that, especially for my older sister, always saying the same to me all over and over again, until to a point where I started to believe it. And I would tell my brother that, I think I'm dumb for real, otherwise they will never, they kind of say that. I haven't thought of committing suicide, because they kind of feel me, they bring me really low. Like, you saw what I mean? Like, it was kind of crazy. It was my brother and my younger brother too. And both of them, we had to kind of put our head together to actually talk sometimes, because things were kind of heavy in a way. It's, when you're on your teen, you don't understand anything. You're taking a lot of time. You kind of blame yourself. You're thinking like, oh yeah, it's true. What they saying, against you. You kind of believe them until you start to go just a little bit. You starting to understand what's going on. You see what I mean? And my older brother used to tell me, it's not you, it's them. It's not you. Every single time he tried to help me out. So it turned out that it wasn't just me. She was doing it to my younger brother too. Until now, he kind of hold it, and he felt that, he was like, what? He even wanted to actually unalive her. In a way, we had to kind of talk to him, be like, what, chill out, relax, because if you do that, what's gonna happen. Don't think you're gonna win. You're not gonna win. You saw me, like, we tried to hold him, so we kept talking to him until he changed his mind. But I told the wrong person, who is my older sister, that I wanted to be an architect or an actor. She told me, no, you can't do that, because your brain is not function for that. it's best if you become a construction a person. Years after, I'm thinking, like, why would you even tell somebody that? Why would you even tell a kid that? Like, which is crazy. Now I'm trying to kind of understand what when people talk about these things, I'm really starting to get what they're saying, and it kind of until now it kind of drilled into me so much that it's hard for me to kind of deprogram myself to tell my I'm a smart guy. Although I do that sometimes, I believe I'm a smart guy. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. But it's just a fear of doing it, and every time it's like she pop up on my head until this day. It's crazy how you can.
It's not easy.
It is like how you can program somebody just because of who you are.
So,
Wow.
okay. Give me a
Wow.
second, y'all.
And you know what? Too? You know one thing. My father, who actually helped her more than helping every single one of us, he had a problem with the house because he owned the house. He asked everybody to sign, like a co-signer to actually help him. She was the only one who didn't sign. After paying college for her, doing all that for her, and it didn't even help her. She actually turned against my dad a few years after. When she actually left the house, she finished college and then she moved on, left the house after he helped her with everything. Those two were actually on top of us. So now he called my dad all kind of she called my dad all kind of name in the world. And then we chose to kind of, what? It doesn't matter. We don't mind what he did to us. So we're gonna be cool. Now I don't talk to him because I feel like I have no reason. But doesn't mean I'm gonna be mean to him. Like, you see what I mean? But
Right.
since now she feel like she get everything she wanted, she actually call him all kind of name in the world, like do all kind of like stupid thing. I'm like, you like, what's going on? So we signed the house. We put our code, like we signed everything. We even put our names except for her. Like the person who was helping you out, doing all that for you, and then you choose to turn your back on him. But he was the same thing too. He was the same way like her too. So it just
That's hard. That hold on. That's a lot to debunk. The only reason why I feel though I understand where he's coming from is because that's very big in the Haitian culture. That is huge in the Haitian culture, where the daughter manipulates the father into doing what she wants him to do, and the father just goes with it, right? It's very rare that you see the daughter being disciplined in the Haitian family. She don't really get disciplined like that. It's very rare. The boys, the men, we get disciplined a lot. If you're from New York, if you're from Florida, Boston, you know how big it is with the culture of the Haitian culture. They don't discipline the daughters as much, right? So with your sister knowing that that's not going to be the case, she took it. She made it her point to use it as an advantage. That's what happened. She used it as an advantage to manipulate your father into being the same way that she was. But you would think, as the parent, you wouldn't allow that to happen. But being the fact that that's the daughter, that's the daughter, right? That's my baby. That's my daughter. As a father, you think, okay, I'm just gonna rock with that.
Yeah, and that was
It's karma though. At the end of the day, it's gonna end. Karma. A lot of people don't understand how powerful karma is. Karma is a dangerous thing, people, to be playing with. And when that happens, when you said that she switched up and didn't help him with the house and didn't sign for the house to get the house situated, that was his karma for doing what he did. That was his karma. I'm sorry that you dealt with that, man. That's not easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe. I know you got your hands up.
But my younger brother stopped talking to him too, and my older brother, he tried to kind of talk to her. I mean to him, and he kind of he's not really he's not really good at doing that. at all.
I can understand that. I can understand
You
that.
know,
That
but her though, our older sister, none of us talk to her at all. You know, we try. You know, I keep my distance until this day.
you know.
Just like you said, like you said right because she was actually his first child. So,
Some cultures create negative unity. I'm gonna say that one more time. Some
Mm,
cultures create negative unity. In order for you to have a consensus, now consensus is not positive or negative. Consensus just means that you have a group of more than one person that agree upon something. You're raising people to identify with cultures that are not conducive. You know what I'm saying? And yes, it
right.
happens in the Haitian community, it happens in the Caribbean community, it happens in many communities. For some reason, the Haitian community is very strong on that, where they do not push the dreams, of the children because they're so far fetched from the things that they've learned that they can't see their kids doing things that they didn't do themselves. So I applaud you, Mark and Lee, for coming up here and being very
Yeah,
transparent and open for saying these things. These are not easy to
yeah,
do,
it's
but
not.
I am, as much as I am sad that that happened to you, I am also happy that you are aware of this happening and you're doing something about it. Does that make sense?
thank you. Yes, it does. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
No,
Thank
we're
you.
proud of you, man.
Because you
Honestly,
guys,
stick around with us too. Stick around.
of course, because you guys are like what you guys talking about. It's really helpful to people because I really believe that like what they say about me is true. Like now
Yeah.
I'm starting to
We're
understand.
gonna we're gonna debunk that. We're gonna stop that from happening. We're gonna help. I'll invite you to the Discord. If you want to have a conversation with me privately, um, we can make that happen, and we could try to figure out a solution on how to
Yeah,
debunk that thought process because you're not what they say you are.
thank
You are
you.
not what they say you are.
Because
Not even remotely.
yep, it's now really I'm starting to understand that these years now when I start to get to be like older now, it's not me, it's them.
No, it's not. It's
It's
them.
never me.
It was a lot of projecting going on over there when
Yeah.
they were doing that. That's what that was. But go ahead, babe.
Thank you very much,
Uh,
guys.
you're welcome. You can stick around. Just stay up here. It's fine.
And Mark,
I'm
what I
sorry.
just wanted to say is
Yeah, I'm sorry
I
before you
think
go.
we can collectively all say that we're glad you're still here. We're glad that those negative influences didn't cut you short of being amazing and making great choices later on in life. No one can tell you what you're going to be. You make those choices. No one can tell you that you're not available to every option that you present for yourself. So please make sure that you stick around and you keep on that positive mindset because you'll go further in life than they ever expected you to, and that's the greatest blessing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, if you see me disconnect from you guys, it's because I'm actually working with somebody right now. He's doing a lot of moving around.
Okay.
So, I mean not because of the net, so you may see me drop off by any chance.
No,
But
no
if not,
problem.
not that I just decide to leave, but because I'm actually working. But thank you very much. Thank you very
No,
much.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm about to play this last video, right? Because we have I think we have 20 minutes left. So I think we should be able to debunk this video in 20 minutes. Hopefully. Cross our fingers. Let's make it happen.
Thing I do when I'm seeing someone with narcissistic pathology is to try to make them aware of the costs and consequences of their, let's call it grandiosity, or hiding the self, which is a form of vulnerable narcissism. Because people often are not aware of that. They'll come in telling you something that they don't understand about themselves. I can give you a couple of examples, like very high functioning architect, sort of at the top of his field, partner in his organization, was approached by the press to talk about a contract with the city, and they had been told not to talk to the press about this. So he was approached by somebody from the press who asked him to speak off the record. And he did. And he gave him information and then came in and said, I just can't understand why I did that. I mean, it could just be a disaster for me if, he should reveal his source or whatever. And so, I said, well, let's talk about it. Let's think about why you might have done that. And, as we talked about it, one of the things he said was, I guess it appealed to my vanity. It made me feel important. He talked about actually how people in the Trump administration had been approached and spoken off the record to people in the press. So it made him feel like that. It made him feel like he was important, et cetera, et cetera. So I said, well, let's talk about what vanity is. And, vanity is, wanting to present oneself as being very important, very erudite, that makes you feel better about yourself. And then gradually, by explicating that and his offering more, I actually introduced the term grandiosity. I said, well, maybe what you're saying is it really fed your grandiosity. And that's the first time that word had come into the treatment. And he very readily said, yes, you're right. I often find myself wanting to present myself as extremely important, self-important, which, by the way, is one of the distinguishing features of grandiosity, unique, special. And then we talked about what was the cost potentially of having done that. I'll give you another example. A female patient, very, very attractive and no trouble attracting men, always had 2 or 3 men in love with her at the same time. Yet she couldn't, as she put it, close the deal with any of them. They were all wealthy, prominent men. They would give her money, take her on lavish vacations. Sometimes there were 2 at a time. And there was one who she had decided would be the person that she should marry. He wasn't quite as exciting as some of the others, but she felt that he really loved her, would care for her, and, she would be able to have children with him, and so on. And she was at a party, and a very prominent man started flirting with her, and she got swept into the way sometimes happens at parties, spending all the time at the party with him, thereby ignoring the man she had come with, who she was actually deciding to commit to, and wound up going home with this other man. And then, of course, the person that she had thought she might commit to ended the relationship with her. And so we talked about how, because she got swept up into this infatuation, she sacrificed an opportunity for a really good, long-term, committed relationship with someone who truly loved her and had stood by her through a lot of really difficult things, situations. It was, again, wanting this kind of superficial admiration that took precedence over everything. And for that, she sacrificed something that could potentially have been a much more enduring, committed relationship. So those are examples that getting people to reflect on. And she came and said the same thing. I don't know why I did that. I have no idea. But unraveling that and analyzing it and understanding it led to understanding some things about herself that she had not been able to really look at head on. And through that, then you begin to identify what we call in TFP the dominant object relation. That is the dominant representation of oneself in interaction with others that gets activated for this person. So in the first situation, it would be a man who, whose dominant representation of self was of a very unique, important person, so important that only he could talk to this reporter, and who was slavishly, courting him and flattering him. And that's the typical dyad of the grandiose self and the inferior other that we try to define in transference-focused psychotherapy. We try to define as what's the dominant object relation organizing that person's experience. It's not the only one. And in the second case, it was a woman who, her presentation of narcissistic pathology was not totally grandiose. It was more a combination of grandiosity and vulnerability. She was very insecure. She felt very inadequate in many situations, was sometimes overcome with feelings of shame. She was in a professional training program. She hadn't been able to finish her degree. So there were many self-defeating, self-abnegating qualities. And in that situation, there was this all-important, grandiose person who was paying attention to somebody with depleted narcissism, and she absolutely got swept into his orbit because by being in his orbit, she got the reflected grandiosity. So that's an example of a more vulnerable narcissistic presentation. But in both cases, you see, there was something driving that person, an object relational scenario that they didn't understand. So we go from talking about the costs and consequences of grandiosity to trying to define what is the dominant representation of self in relation to others that keeps coming up over and over again. And so that's the beginnings of treatment. Somewhere along there, that process, people become aware that they actually need therapy, that there's much more distress there than they were consciously or overtly aware of, that they are actually in pain.
Yeah, I know, guys. I get it. I know. It's a lot. It's a lot of shit that we really don't want to hear, but we're here now.
Sorry, I got 2 phone calls back to back. But I'm back.
We know you're a popular person. You're busy. You know.
G-girl.
Listen, interesting. Well, we don't have a lot of time, so let's show everybody what time management looks like, right?
Right.
I don't think Barbara had a chance to speak. And then we can do last call on the ball for everyone. Closing remarks, because I do have something that please stay until the closing remarks. Don't run, because I'm going to say something that stings. So if you're a masochist and you like pain, stick around.
What's going on, bro? Welcome in.
What's good, y'all? Well, most of y'all know me as Gator. Most of y'all know me as Proverb Gator. You know, yeah, I follow the Bible. That's just me. That's who I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm back in track to where I needed to be as far as my mental. It was a lot of things that I have been going through and a lot of things that I've been pushing forward to get better in. You know what I'm saying? So just popping in with y'all, you know what I'm saying, and checking in like, usual. You know, I'm just here. So for sure, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch, just watch from the view.
We appreciate you being here, bro. It's a process. It's not easy to get back into the swing of things, but the fact that you're doing it, we're proud of you.
Definitely.
We're proud of you.
For sure.
All right, homie, go blow up the internet. Go for it, because I really don't have much to say after listening to that.
No, I'm about to. It's seatbelt and helmet time. Put on your seatbelt and your helmet, please. This is not going to sit well with a lot of people. It didn't sit well with me, and I'm comfortable with a lot of things. Okay. Here's the thing. We're not here trying to argue with people and trying to teach people what this is and what that is. We're giving you an idea, right? That narcissism has a lot of different characteristics, right? It has a lot of different traits, a lot of different things that go into it. Now, the more traits you have, right, the closer you are to being a narcissist. Does that make sense mathematically? Because I think this is common sense, all right? Now, this is where it gets tricky. You could be considered having a narcissistic tendency just because you take a long time getting dressed. That's ouch number one. Ouch number two is if you fluctuate between feelings of inferiority and then feelings of grandiose, you have narcissistic tendencies. Number three, if you are undecisive, you could be considered narcissistic. So what is the bottom line that I'm trying to tell everybody, right? Nobody here is immune to narcissism because we all have some type of narcissistic traits. But it's the amount that you have and the level of its aggressiveness that puts you closer to that narcissistic, how could I say this? Label? Is that a good word? Label? Because that's what we send to do. Look, for the sake of better conversation, ladies and gentlemen, let's start choosing our words better. Let's start also knowing what these words mean. Because if you're saying the word blue and you're talking about color, I think you're talking about emotions. We all speak a different language, right? But we can't have a conversation until there is some type of consensus in the conversation. So the more you learn, the more confident you be. People have this thing that, oh, the more I learn, the more choices I'm going to have, and then the more indecisive I'm going to be. No. How are you going to know what to do if you haven't tried it or someone hasn't shown you? How are you going to know what to do if they haven't shown you, if you haven't been exposed to it? And the other one is, because ignorance is a choice and you are responsible for your own ignorance. The other one is, just because you haven't seen it doesn't give you the right to be a coward and not try it. Have a nice day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming in. We hit 100,000. Follow our links. Follow our social medias. If you're not following everybody here, look, you have 53 people that could possibly be helping your following that are all here to do the same thing. We're here for clarity, right? But here's the problem. Happiness is something that's inside of you. You shouldn't have to go to a place or go to a person to have it. Take it with you. Sometimes you could actually leave it home because you don't want to risk it. Let's go. Have a nice day, everybody.
Go ahead, babe.
If you have not visited the bio, please do. You will have the choices of visiting the merch store, visiting the Discord, purchasing the Mind Your Mental book. Please visit Ormiga's bio for his book, Live Above the Norm. If you have not visited Elysium's website, please do. These are all helpful sources that you can commit to in order to broaden your understanding of a lot of the different topics that are talked about in this live. Make it a habit. We see everyone make it a habit to go into these negative lives and feed the negativity. What if we feed the positivity at the end of the day? What if we feed into ourselves? What if we take in all of the things that these hosts are talking about and actually make a habit of listening and pulling in that information? 53 people, 57 now, have joined this live and stayed collectively through this entire 3 hours and absorbed this information. And it's been positive after positive after positive chat that's been going on in the live, and we're happy to see it. So we want to make sure that everybody keeps that roll on positivity. Join the Discords, purchase the books, visit the websites, keep that habit going. Thank y'all for 103,000 likes. You guys did amazing, both interacting in the chat and pushing the likes way up. I know we've had a lot of people that visited from the FYP. Make sure that you guys come back. We're here every Saturday. Sorry, we have people that have loud cars here for no reason. They like to put lawnmowers in their exhaust. We're here every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come back, conversate, add to the conversation, receive the conversation, research the knowledge, take it all in.
If anybody wants a link to the Discord, please send me a DM, a personal DM, so I know that you guys want access to the Discord. Because if not, I am not gonna know that you want access to the Discord. Because if you hit the link and the link gives you an error, I might have to update the link in my link tree. So if it gives you an error and you try to join the Discord, please send me a message and let me know. Okay, because they do expire very quickly if you don't use them.
Really quickly, I'm going next because I'm going to drop down. Exactly what Sweet Tea said, follow everybody here, go to their Discord. Go to the link trees, go check out their merch. I would like to thank you all for coming. I would like to thank Official Management, Elysium, Ormiga, Mark, Proverbs, and anyone else who came up here and shared anything or from the chat. We truly appreciate y'all coming through and, sharing your information. We love and appreciate y'all. Thank you for always hosting these topics. I love it here. Bye.
Bye. We appreciate everybody that came in. Y'all want to know how many people came through here since we've been doing this live? 3,200 people.
Not including the ops in the For You page. Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Shit. No, 3,200 people came through here since 9 o'clock. That means there was 3,200 people here that got some nuggets and some knowledge today. that they could take with them.
Also, for all of you that might have missed pieces of this live, the live is being recorded and then the audio gets stripped and put on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube, it's called Mind Your Mental. You will see the background page that Teddy has here to advertise what the episode is about. I'm sorry again for the lawnmower. These people really think they're going somewhere fast with their whole loud cars. If you go to YouTube, you can subscribe to the Mind Your Mental channel and you will be able to catch all of the episodes every week. They will be posted. The audio is stripped from this live, so you get all of the tidbits that each of the coaches are adding to the conversation and the people that visit the conversation as well. So please make sure that you subscribe to that and you're able to listen to the lives.
And just to show you guys that she is not lying, you see these lives 3 hours long. So every live that we do is posted on here. Every live. And then I even post some of the snippets of the lives on the stories. So we're doing it in real time, guys.
Also, Sigmund Freud's books have been added to the mental health library in the Discord. So please check those books out as well. We want to make sure that the topics that we're talking about in these lives and the authors that we're talking about are also posted in the mental health library, so you can go ahead and do your own research and learn more about this.
So if you guys want to be up, thank you, babe. I really appreciate you. If you guys definitely want to join the Discord, like I said, shoot me a personal DM and let me know. I will send you the link to the Discord. And we will get you in there as soon as possible. We'll get you guys access to all the channels, and we'll go from there. So let's everybody get their closing. Go for it. Have fun.
I would like to say these are tough topics, and if when you come in and if you are triggered by something, make sure that you have someone that you can talk to. If you need someone to talk to, you can email me. I do not do DMs, just so y'all know, plain and simple. If you get a DM from me, it is not me. So don't shoot me up in my DMs. Go to my website and hit me up on an email if you need to talk. Make sure that you have someone that you can bounce off of, because we do open up the doorways, but just know that we are safe places as well. So just not leaving you out here hanging in the wind 3 hours later after we have these conversations. You can reach out in the Discord chats. We all have our Discords. If you need to, that is a way to actually just pick up the phone and just hit, hey, that's a direct link to somebody, because all of us are part of the Mind Your Mental Discord as well.
And
the world full of negativity. Choose love, love on purpose. Respect is the flavor, love is the glue. Make sure you're planting those gardens. And I love you.
And just to get you guys know, Mika goes live from 7 to 8, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays. Lately, she's been doing a lot of Saturdays, so I'm here for it. So let's say Monday through Saturday from 7 to 8. So make sure you guys catch her while she's live, so that way you guys can get yourself some healing yourself. Because listen, them sound baths be on point. Okay, them sound bowls, they be hitting. Them frequencies be hitting. So when you go in there, go ahead. No, tell them what you got going on, girl. What are you doing?
So I do them in person. I am available for events as well, but you just reach out to me via my website. Again, you can set up your personal appointment there at elysiumlbc.com. I just say your first time out, just try it out, do 30 minutes, and then we can go from there and see if you need more than that. I utilize the sound bowls, the singing bowls, the crystal ones. I do have the tuning forks, and I do other spiritual guidance as well. So that's how you can get in contact with me, is via my website. Do not go on my DMs, because I will not be in yours.
She's not going to respond in the DMs, guys. Just email her. Just go on the website and email her. Everything is available.
No, I have 7 fake pages now. There are 7 fake pages that are DMing people actively. I was on the phone with Dr. Swaden when one was actually texting him, and he's like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "No, it's not me. I'm on the phone with you. Why would I DM you?"
Well, that just means you made it. That just means you made
People
it.
are trying to take advantage of my people, and
We're not here for it.
like that. I'm not for all of
So be very careful. Be very mindful, as she said. There's quite a few pages that are trying to mimic what she's doing. Unfortunately, we cannot alleviate that because TikTok be TikToking, and they don't protect us as much as they should. So just be mindful of that. If you guys see it, this is the page that she's on. So make sure you guys are following this page right here. Hormiga, go for it.
Wow. Powerful live, like always. What could I say? What I could say is we need to pick and choose what works and what doesn't. Right? That's what everybody wants to do, right? We wanna, but you can't if you don't focus on the number one thing that I believe in. You don't have to believe in this, but the farther you go from it, the harder it is to come back. And I'm talking about balance. We need to find balance within ourselves. We need to find balance within all existence, right?
Right.
But before you try to fix the world, before you try to fix somebody else, fix yourself.
Right.
I like when people pick my brain. You know why? Because it helps me to articulate and to practice what I know and give it a different twist because you have to know your audience, right? You have to know the climate in the room, what words to use, temperament. And then I said cadence. People don't know what cadence is when you speak. But back in 2020, when everybody was using the mask, I went jogging for 2 years with a mask on. It's almost like jogging in high altitude. So now I have the strength to slow down when I'm about to be at a loss for words so that I can catch up to my brain or let my brain catch up to my mouth. I'm going to say that one more time. There has to be a balance between your brain and your mouth. One cannot outdo the other. They have to work in unison. So whenever you find yourself at a loss for words, slow down so that your brain can catch up to your mouth. That just means that your mouth is talking too fast. I hope that didn't put a hole in somebody's head.
No, it did. It did. It did.
Okay.
And, I'm sure because that's deep. First of all, sir.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The deeper it is,
the more drills.
The more you have to swim up to the shore. The deeper it
Ooh.
is, the more you have to swim up to the shore. You see how I switched it on you?
I like that. That was smooth. Sir.
I'll leave you with that,
Wordplay.
man. Listen, I love what I do. I have a great time and I enjoy playing games with people. I like the fact that people sometimes have the wrong impression. Who does it think he is? He thinks he's so smart. Well, nobody said I think about it. That's number one. And number two, I'm not an arrogant person, but what I am is sure. And some people mistake that, for arrogance. I am not an arrogant person, but I am definitely sure of myself. But here's the good part. I expect that people are going to have that image about me. Therefore, it doesn't bother me because it comes with the territory. As a leader and as a coach, you have to understand that not everybody's going to resonate with you at first glance. So don't be the person you're trying to coach. Ouch. Have a nice day.
Hey man, he synchronized. Look, he synchronized the thoughts with his words. That's what you're supposed to do.
That was crazy. Mark, go ahead, take the floor. Let's see what you guys say for the closing remarks, sir.
Yeah. I just gotta say before you guys go, I'm about to leave too. Some people don't know how important it is what you guys are doing, what you guys are saying. It's always good to preach, always good to actually share what you guys are sharing with others. You guys are actually healing so many souls and helping so many people. I do have a relief to seeing, being actually part of this life. Even when I was, in the comment, just hearing what you guys were saying, it's really helpful. Keep on doing what you guys are doing. It's a great thing. It's really important. It's more important than some other things, than most other things out there. Keep blessing other people, guys. Keep it up because you guys are actually healing a lot of people, and you guys made a big effect, on me too. today. This is how I got the strength to even come up and actually share what I shared today. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, and keep going, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. And I do believe that if you keep on doing, the world's gonna change. It made those are the things that actually help the world. Like, you see what I mean? So you just gotta keep on going, brothers and sisters. So and I love you guys.
Love you
Always.
too, brother. Thank you.
Always.
Thank you for coming up. Honestly.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
being transparent, first of all, because that I know that wasn't easy to speak on. It's not an easy thing to speak on, especially when it comes to family. So we appreciate that transparency. Hey, Kenny.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
What's going on, Kenny? You're welcome. Gator, go ahead, bro.
Well, first I want to say, I know it's been a minute since I've been here, and every time I either, take my break and come back, it's the following is always getting bigger. So I already know that for a fact, that what y'all doing right now is actually, it's easing for the mind. So I fuck with it on a different path, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this, my website is not up and running, but Proverb Gator Line Haul is not for the mall, but I will proceed to give you what you need, and it will be back up and running by October. I'm definitely trying to stay around. I'm gonna definitely try to stick around more. And I shot you a DM so I can get that Discord for sure.
Okay, I got you. I'll send that over to you. Harmiga, I appreciate you, bro. Always, every day. You got kicked for some reason. What's going on? I thought the TikTok booting you. What's going on?
No, I got big fingers.
No, Frosty, you got something you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say if anybody was interested, my daughter and I are doing a healing journey together, like a mother-daughter healing journey, because, we've both been through trauma, and I raised her through my trauma. And so every Thursday night from 4 to 6, we do a live where we work through things together. We are actually going to walk through the book together. Yeah, I'm a little terrified, but happy. We are going to work through the book. What's it called? Children raised by. I can't remember the name of the book. Something like Children Raised by Unregulated Emotions from Their Parents. That's not the name of the book. I can't. I'm having a brain fart right now. But anyway, we're going to work through that part of the book. So. How her life appeared, and what I was adult children of emotionally immature parents. So we're going to go through that book. It's going to be very vulnerable, but very needed. So just wanted to throw that out there. And I usually go live on that too, but it's through the therapeutic nutritionist Amber, who was on here.
Yeah, I seen him. Yeah.
He's the one that it will be hosted by her. So just wanted to throw that out there if anybody's interested.
No, absolutely. Make sure you share us the live in the Discord as well, and that's in the name of the book, so that way we can post it in the library.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're the reason why this happened. So thank you. Honestly, you're the reason why everybody was able to get this knowledge, because you brought it up. So the fact that you was transparent about wanting to get that information for your people, so that way they can have a better understanding. So everybody else can have a better understanding,
I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm like scared, and I slept through it, and I guess it was meant to be, right? And I think it was phenomenal. I think everybody was very receptive and understanding. So I really appreciate it. I think it went well. And thank you so much for being so open. Like you said, there was absolutely no hesitation in that talk. You were just like, oh, I'm on this. I think we could do this. And it's, sometimes hard for people to be able to dig into something like that. So I appreciate you. It was fucking awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're really welcome. All right, guys. I'm going to get off of here. I love you guys. Make sure you guys hit the link trees, hit my link tree, hit Mika's link tree, or Mika's link tree. Make sure you guys get everything that's needed within their spaces. Because trust me, we all bring different dynamics to what Mind Your Mental is, to what Love Bug Central is, to what the Timmy Club, all of it. We bring a collective environment that's just unique to each platform. So, but we all still collectively connect because that's just what we do.
Are you doing the show?
Like
Are you doing the show tonight?
Yes, I should be. We got Kate make this shit up tonight.
Can you? No, it's not tonight.
No.
He has he tested positive for COVID.
Well, let everybody know what the show is, so they not everybody knows.
Well, usually every Saturday night, we usually do Can't Make You Sit Up at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time with my brother Mudfoot in the chat, and my brother Shakes, and my brother Puffy, and my sister J to the mother, and Donna, and Duke. So make sure you guys tune in regards to that. Oh, you're coming up? Hold on, time out. I got to switch the boxes. There's so many people up here.
I just want to say quickly, Frosty, I did post the name of that book and the link in the mental health library, so it's in there already.
Oh, she fast working over there. Thank you, babe. Appreciate you. All right, come on up, bro. So let everybody know what we got going on, or if we're postponing tonight or not.
Hey, hello. Sorry if I'm echoing. All praises. Y'all did an awesome show as usual. Just want to let everybody know that the show is back next week, and the show is about making up not making up, but telling the most wildest story that you can tell that's happened to you. The most wildest content that nobody's ever heard of. It's about laughter. It's also a portion of mental health, because we go through wild stuff throughout the week. I try to tie it in with what Teddy, Cormiga, and Mika do, because we all have rough patches throughout the week, throughout life. So that's what it's about. So, but the show will be back next week, episode 4, season 3. Didn't mean to step on nobody's toes. Just wanted to come in and kind of clear some things up.
Step nobody's toes, man. You can never do that.
Even though he sounds like a mafia boss, but I'm not going to say nothing.
We hope you feel better.
Yo, feel better, man.
But I love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and tap out. I'll see you guys a little bit.
Yeah, he came in. He said, I'm going to give him an offer I can't refuse, you know?
The bumpy tongue snack for sure.
Well, make sure you guys check out my link tree. Make sure you grab the book. Check out the merch too, because we have a lot of merch in my link tree. I have like 3 different lines that I have all together that you guys can purchase from right now. But Mind Your Mental has its own merch, all affirmation merch that you guys can grab. So make sure you guys go check that out and shop away, man. Get some gifts for your family. Get some gifts for your kids. For yourself. And some of those affirmations look actually pretty fire. So
it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on.
But if
we're just getting started. And I'll keep saying that forever.
We're not even in the surface yet. We're still like right here. We're not even there yet. We got a lot of things that we're trying to put together. The YouTube channel is fairly new. So make sure you guys go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. The channel's called Mind Your Mental. But I'm telling you, it's everything is Mind Your Mental. This page, my Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, all of it. It's all collectively Mind Your Mental. The Discord as well. So I'm trying to create an environment where we can get all the coaches in one closed environment for everybody to utilize with what they got going on and what we got going on, so that way we can work as a family to give you guys a safe environment to learn and be the better version of yourself. So we love you guys. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Make sure y'all keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all living within your valued energy. And I pity the fool who doesn't mind their mental. Hey. I pity the fool who doesn't mind their mental. Hey. Peace, y'all. Peace.
Next time I'll create a beat.
Right, let's do it.